Oké, normaal? Ja, ben ik te horen. Normaal, welkom terug bij Phoenix Wright. Dus kijken, mijn camera werkt. Ja, het is een beetje zwart aan mijn kant van het scherm. Met Phoenix Wright Dual Destinies. We zijn terug gaan verder met onze game. Wij waren gebleven bij de dingen waar een leraar nog altijd vermoord was. Waar het verhaal begon, onze suspect is al een klein beetje vrij gesproken. We gaan nu hem erop vinden. Het was echt de killer. Hij is ook de echte killer waarschijnlijk. En we gaan hem erop vinden. Maar hij is de leraar prof. En we gaan hem leren. Het lesje leren van liegen in het woord. De waarheid komt true. De waarheid zorgt dat alles uitkomt. Dus dat gaan we hem nu leren. Dus we waren bij de cross-examination gebleven van deze Mr. Professor Bean. En we waren bij zijn cross-examination. Hoe was jullie dag, zou ik zeggen? Ik heb lekker een hele fijne werkdag gehad vandaag. Ook vandaag is de World of Warcraft free opgeleid. Now pay attention, Robin over the half a day to complete on the statue. Oké, dan is het niet meer zo aan het tikken tegen dat ding. Even moeten goede zetten. Normaal gezien is vandaag ook het begin van World of Warcraft festival van Hearthstone's 10 verjaardag. Ik heb alleen op Facebook al gelezen dat er keihard problemen waren met sommige mensen. Dus ik ga een dag wachten. Morgen gaan we de World of Warcraft en dan gaan we de Hearthstone event doen. Voor de Hearthstone 10 Anniversary. Er zijn 2 modes te krijgen. Eén waar ik gewoon naar Hearthstone moet inloggen. Heb ik graag nog gedaan, maar oké. Ik wacht vandaag ook eens te inloggen. En dan is er ook nog een event in World of Warcraft waar we moeten nakijken hoe het werkt en zo. Maar dan gaan we gewoon een World of Warcraft zelf meemaken. Dat gaat morgen dus zijn. Vandaag gaan we dus gewoon verder met Ace Attorney. En we zien waar we uitkomen. We zien of we de case kunnen closen. Met een non-guilty verdict. Natuurlijk voor onze cliënten. En dan onze volgende missie kunnen gaan. Als ik me goed herinner gaan er nog 2 andere zaken zijn. Niet zeker nog 2 andere cases gaan er nog zijn in deze game. Als ik me goed herinner. Het kan nog steeds ook fout herinneren dat er 3 zijn of 4 of 2 of 1. Maar als ik me goed herinner nog 2 andere. Maar ja, we gaan eens kijken hoe we raken. Let's go with the game. Let's go. Okay, Miss Newman took over half a day. Can you please be a little more precise than that? Aha, haha. What a wonderful question. She was having quite a tough time, you see. Prosecutor Graven's statue alone took her from the morning hours until the evening. Well, it is a rather large statue, after all. Don't be silly. I merely expose the difference between student and teacher. Oh ja, we zijn ook bijna het raam, oké. I however finished most of the other statue between 7 and 8:30. Best. Most of the other statue? What exactly does that mean? Open created the basic outline of Mr. White's statue before the last bell rang. I, in turn, completed the rest of it. I see. In academics, as well as art, learning the basics is incredibly important. In short, you skipped the most important part of statue making, didn't you? Ik krijg een kerretje naar mijn gezicht. Why, you insolent little... It is the practical applications built upon the basics that make it take so much time. Professors such as I mastered the basics a long time ago. Unlike Miss Fancy Pants here, who lacks all lowly fundamentals. Quite you. No, do you understand? I do not leave the stage until I was done. Well, Miss Sykes, do you accept the witness claim? Not on your life. Not on your life, Buster. Wow. Not on your life. No, I don't. I know there's more to this and I won't stop until the truth comes out. The more you struggle, the more you sink, like so much legal quicksand, so to speak. I used the words ultimate technique to complete the statue by 8:30 p.m. Van den Juniper Van den Juniper saw the two statues with her own eyes at 8:30 p.m. See, at 8:30 p.m. Was dat? Denk het wel, hè? Maar press. Just press. Maybe our client only thought she saw the statues.
Silence.
I mean, there wasn't doek overheen. A pity for you, but we have already confirmed it with the accused. She is on record as having seen both statues. Yeah, that's true. Just thought I would give it a shot. Ha 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 ha. I have the ultimate in courtroom techniques. It is absolutely airtight. I will bury you. This will be your final resting place, along with all who believed in you. Is there no way to get to the sky? You better pay attention. Pay very close attention. Completing the statue so quickly means I could not leave the stage for a single second. Press. Why were you in such a hurry? In the legal world, your body is your capital. The early bird gets the worm. That's why I get to bed at 9 p.m. each and every night. And that's why I was working as fast as I could. I didn't want to miss my bedtime. Mijn bedtime is 1 uur 's nachts. Ik stream tot 12 en ik blijf wakker tot 1. En dan lig ik lekker in mijn bedje. En ik probeer me er ook aan te houden. Well, right to concede that I never left the stage. Well, Miss Sykes, do you accept the witness claim? Accept. Best. I have tried everything, but I still can't prove anything. I guess I concede. I couldn't hear you. Say it louder this time. I concede that Professor Means never left the stage. Hahaha, that's right. But what took you so long? I was there at the stage the entire time. I couldn't possibly have committed that crime. I'm not gonna give up here. I'm afraid I have to side with the witness, Mrs. Sykes. Miss Sykes. And unless we have any further objections, I will have to put the issue to rest.
Objection!
Why have an objection? Not yet. The defense still has an objection. Athena? You've thought of something? Well, as I said, not yet. Oh, so it's time for legal smoke and mirrors? Not yet, Athena. It's not yet time to quit. It's at times like this, when it seems like there's no way out, what you have to... Yeah, I have to turn the case upside down. Instead of focusing on whether Professor Means could have gone to the art room, I should focus on how he committed murder without going there. It seems the young lady has a real bona fide ID. I must use any means possible to distract her. See if she can think while I cast these stones. Ah! Who brought the bird to school? There is no school, sir. Psych, Zono. If I hear one word of your usual jibbery jabber, I shall have your head. The murder occurred in the art room, yet the witness was on stage. How do you propose to fill the vast gap between those two facts? If I accept the premise that the professor was on stage the entire time, the only other answer is that we got something else wrong. Wait, that's it. Every last one of us made a huge mistake. We were totally wrong about even saved, just in case, met dit. The crime scene. If Professor Means was on the stage the entire time, then he must be the killer. Ridiculous. The defense had become utterly incoherent.
Objection!
No, it's just the murder wasn't committed where we thought it was. Continue, Saisono. Okay, the murder was actually committed here. On the stage.
Take that!
The greatest riddle of the case has been how the body was moved from the art room. But if the murder occurred on the stage, that means the body was never moved at all. Uh-oh, nieuwe text. The murder occurred in the art room. Okay. Silly girl, when the body was found, there wasn't a drop of blood on the stage floor. Surely there would have been some blood if there were the murder. That's where the murder was committed. There wasn't any blood on the stage, really? But there was something on stage at the time of the murder that's no bloodstained. Wel, dat zal onze schoolbanner zijn.
Take that!
It's true, there was no bloodstain on the stage floor, but there was something on the stage that did have a bloodstain. And that would be this, the school banner. No blood would have got on the floor if this were under the victim when she was killed. Oh my, that's quite a compelling theory.
Silence.
What is it now? My theory makes perfect sense. That was a pathetic attempt. You must put every inch of your body into your attacks. The autopsy states the cause of death was loss of blood. Yet, on the trace amount was found upon that banner, where did the rest go? Blood getting on there when the body was moved by wire makes more sense than not. Hahaha, very good, Simon. Tell me, what's your first choice of higher education? I will write you the ultimate in recommendation letters. You're all but guaranteed to get in.
Objection!
Well, he's in prison, dus ik denk het niet. Actually, the defense has something to explain that as well. You do? If there was only a trace amount of blood on the school banner, then there must have been something else the killer used to soak up the blood. All I have to do is figure out what. This is what soaked up most of the victims' blood. De eerste banner.
Take that!
Why? It looks like there's some other piece of fabric on top of the school banner. It's a Graveneer's banner that had been specially made for the school concert. Since there's on top of the school banner, the blood would have hit it first. It could have easily absorbed most of the blood like a dishcloth, and only a small amount would have soaked through to the school banners below. So it makes total sense for the school banner to only have a little blood on it. Ah! So the banner absorbed the blood like a dishcloth. Yes, that would explain it. The Graveneer's banner was like a dishcloth? Surely it was at least towel quality. Shh! Justice, don't tell them. Simon, don't just stand there, do something.
Silence.
Psychs or no, you are learning to wield the blade quite well. But how will you respond when I come slashing at you like this? The remnant of the large blood stain was detected in the art room. But why would there be blood there if the murder occurred on the stage as you claim?
Objection!
The blood stain in the art room was faked. How? I will tell you. All that was needed was something that could transport the blood upstairs. And that something was a piece of evidence we just finished discussing. The killer used this to bring the victim's blood up to the art room. Well, de burnt flag. Maar ik ga even hier nog eens een save maken. Just in case.
Take that!
To think you stoop so low as to present merely garbage to this court. It's only garbage because someone tried to destroy it by tossing it into the incinerator. That someone was most likely the killer, seeking to get rid of crucial evidence. The killer used the wire to bring the blood-soaked weaponier's banner to the art room. Then the blood was wiped into the floor to complete the ruse. It made perfect sense. Huh. Oh, we got him. Order, order. This is quite a development. To think the body was never actually moved. Hold it right there. The body must have been moved. How else do you explain the loud crash you hear during the mock trial? If it wasn't caused by the body crashing into the statue, then what was it? The statue. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. If that loud crash wasn't the body hitting the statues, then what was it indeed? A knot in the school banner shows that something was carried along the wire in it. So if that's true, I know what I have to find. Something that was in the art room before the murder and then on the stage after. The object that was sent down the wire to crash into the statues was Lady Justice.
Take that!
That statue? Yes, I believe it was the statue that broke the other two, not Professor Court's body. The unique statue what you see on the right, that's the pure white Lady Justice from earlier. Professor Court accidentally broke it while she was polishing it the day before the mock trial, but she used her own unique artistic sense and technique to repair it as you see here. Nobody would have guessed that it was originally Lady Justice.
Silence.
Perhaps you are onto something. But why, pray tell, would anyone move that scrap heap relic in such a tedious manner? Excellent question, Simon. Keep them coming. You know why, but the fact that you won't acknowledge it shows how twisted you are. Lady Justice was moved during the mock trial. During that time, Professor Means was fabricating an alibi with his pre-recorded speech. If you consider the facts, then Lady Justice was moved in order to point on the body, make the sound, hit the body, point us to the body. Professor Means used his pre-recorded speech to fake an alibi during the mock trial. He wanted to make it look like he couldn't possibly have moved the body. Moving Lady Justice was his way of pointing us to the body and cementing his alibi. Yeah, that's quite a persuasive argument. For a while there, I thought you weren't taking the trial seriously. Well done. Thanks, Judge. Thanks. Objection. Okay. Hahaha. You should never underestimate me, Athena Sykes. Professor Means always means what he says, and says what he means by all means. Fine then. Say it already. I'm waiting. The murder occurred the night before, but the body wasn't found until late the next day. Countless students passed the stage till they met in the lecture hall for the mock trial. The the body would absolutely be found. True. So answer me this. Why didn't anyone see the body that entered entire time? That can be explained by, oh. If the victim was murdered on stage and left there, the body would eventually have been discovered. And of course, there was nowhere to hide a body upon the stage. This is no good, Athena. Our claim is this close to being beaten to a pulp. I know, but we've come so far. Hahaha, consider yourselves schooled. I couldn't have possibly killed anyone. The killer is none other than Juniper Woods. It always has been, and it always will be. Just wait a minute. Poor Juniper, she must seriously regret having asked you to defend her. And to aid insult to injury, you nearly had you convicted for murder. Surely you haven't forgotten that little fiasco. Athena says attorney's badge is just for... Oh, that is evil. We're gonna get him down. Not only did you fail to defend your client, you also raised false charges against her friend. You have no right to call yourself a lawyer. Oeh, dat is diep. Bij haar, denk ik. Oeh. You are a lawyer. Then we can be lawyer. But if the trial proceeds in the same manner and ends up in the same way as the mock trial, would you not lose everything you've worked so hard to gain? Well, I'm just having to make sure that it doesn't happen. Then, won't I? And he makes it happen. Don't tell me I failed once again. Failed to save someone near and dear to me. I've worked so hard to become a lawyer, and even studied psychology. Has it all been for naught? Am I just doomed to reveal that all over again? Athena, what's wrong? Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Relax, Athena. Breathe. Ooh, she is, it's not working. Everything's going dark. After all I've done, is this how it ends? Sorry guys, lange werkdag geweest. Forgive me, Joni. I couldn't protect you like I said I would. Ik durf niet te veel koffie te drinken voor het slapen straks. Objection! You leave Athena alone, man. She's the one who saved me. It was because of Athena that I could stop hiding and start living my life as a girl again. And she saved the friendship between you, Juniper, and I. I think you're an awesome lawyer, Athena. One of the best. But I raised false charges against you. And that's not all. I have done something seriously unforgivable things. Oh, dan komt Duke. Ik heb even zo van het gapen zo'n traanoog. Kent je dat? Okay. Hey, that was... What's the big deal? False charges are nothing to be scared of. And I'm not even mad at you. I should really be thanking you. You use legitimate means to expose my wrongdoings and give me a chance to re-examine what's important. But what does it matter if I can't save Juniper? I mean, the whole reason I've come so far is... Juniper! It's not over yet, Tina. Miss Woods. Sorry, ik ben echt aan het gapen. Even now, at this very moment, I still believe in you. Junie. I know you better than most people, Tina. And I know you better, you would never surrender to the dark age of the law like Professor did. Thank you, Junie. But I feel like I can barely breathe. I don't know what to do.
Silence.
Stop your bleeding this instant. You look an utter fool. Prosecutor Blackwell? There is one who awaits you, is there not? And that is the reason you have studied so very hard. Are you preparing to give up on all you have worked for this far? It would not do to have you disappoint. You know who. I. Ha 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 ha. You're wasting your time. You have nothing on me. No evidence or anything else to establish my guilt. You are helpless before the might of lawyers from who the end justifies the means.
Objection!
Don't worry, Athena, you're doing fine. The truth will always wins against people like him. But Apollo, what am I supposed to do now? Listen, all you have to do is take a deep breath and look back over the entire case. If there's truth to be found, and there it always is, you're sure to find it. Now, let me see your smile. Remember what Mr. Wright said? The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. Come on, Tina, you can do it. Thanks, everyone. You don't have to worry about me now. The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles. Athena's size is sized and ready to walk. Prepare for your utter defeat. Okay, big thing, brain thinking. Let's go. Professor Court wasn't killed in the art room. She was killed right where the body was found. We know because there wasn't any time to move the body there for somewhere else. That means the body had to have been hidden somewhere on stage until it was found. I think along these lines, and I see where it takes us. First up, when did Professor Means remove the body from its hiding place? Well, let's see. What was he doing right before the body was discovered? Maar even mijn neus snuiten. Dat is met die gaaptraanoogjes dat ik net had. Dat is gewoon van gapen, krijg ik traanogen van. Niet opletten. Daar heb ik gewoon. Maar let's go. Well, let's see. What else was he doing right before the body was discovered? He was using the span of time to fake his alibi created to move the body to where it would be more easily spotted. Therefore, the only time Professor Means could have removed the body from the hiding place is during the mock trial. It was during the mock trial, specifically during the speech. Professor Means moved the body to an easily seen location during his long pre-recorded speech. The professor also moved something to stage that wasn't there before, especially the white statue. During the mock trial, Professor Means wrapped the White Lady Justice in the school banner and sent it zipping down onto the stage when it crashed, killing two birds with one stone. He drew attention to the body and made it look like the murder occurred in the art room. But was there anywhere to hide the body on the stage? Yes. It doesn't seem like... No, there had to be someplace. Wait a second, how about something that should have been finished but was only mostly done? Something was used to cover the body up, but it didn't draw undue attention because it looked like it belonged there on stage. In the way, no one would suspect there was a body hidden inside. What was already on stage and capable of concealing a body? Mr. Wright's statue. Body was hidden by Wright's statue. Oh, I know. The Mr. Wright statue was never actually finished. The body was swept under some cloth to hide what was really inside, cleverly disguising it as the boss's statue. And let's go. Let's go, Tina. Miss Newman gave up on the white statue, yet Professor Means finished it in a single night. Yes, what an impressive feat that was.
Objection!
No, his so-called work of art deserves none of our praise. That's because it was only a facade to hide to his real work, the murder of Professor Court. Come again? I'm afraid I don't follow. He hid the body by making it look like the statue of Mr. Wright. With the body wrapped under a piece of cloth, it looked like just like a statue. What? A second, that what? No, this is getting interesting. No, this is getting preposterous. How would such a thing even be possible?
Objection!
We will never know until we try. Uh-oh. I think I know where this is going. Okay, Apollo, time to turn me into a reasonable likeness of Mr. Wright. I'm going to pose like the statue, like so. And I want you to wrap me up in a cloth so that I look like a statue. I hate to ask too obvious, but where am I supposed to get this magical cloth? Wel, waar is Mr. alweer? Oké, volgens mij zijn het dus 3 cases, want we hebben nog geen case gehad met de dochter van Mr. White. En ik weet toch ook wel een case gaat zijn met de dochter. I'm afraid that isn't the right color, Mr. Justice. Well, given how sudden the request was, it's kinda the best I could do, Your Honor. Alright, I think that about does it. Well, what do you think, everyone? Do I look just like a statue of Mr. White? Or what? Looks like someone random person to me. Weren't the statues a pair of busts? Phoenix Wright has that spiky hair on the back of his head. Forget the hair. The statue's head is way bigger than your average person's anyway. You've got a hand to me for trying. Anyway, wait, that's it. The hands. Her arms are raised over her head. And there are dark bruises around her wrist. Yeah, the professor was probably tied up with something. The marks on her wrist indicate she has been tied up. Apollo, tie me up in a new pose. Wait, you're not into this kind of thing, are you? What? No. Besides, it was your idea. Just tell me how to tie your hands already. Professor Court's wrists were tied together, and I can't help but think it's related. How should I arrange myself to match the shape I want, given her hands were tied? Hij bij het, denk ik. Dat maakt het de spikes van mijn head. Even in de safe doen voor de zekerheid. Maar ik denk behind the heads. For the spikes. Apollo, tie both of my hands behind my head. See, this makes it possible to fake the spikes on the back of Mr. Wright's head. Sure, but then what about the statue's arm? With both arms behind your head, you can't actually complete the pose. Yeah, it would be awfully hard to make the objection pose like this. I can't help thinking you forgot something, Athena. Something on the body that you don't have right now. The arrow! What did the victim's body have that I don't have? The arrow!
Take that!
Alright, there was an arrow sticking out of her side. Okay, Apollo, take that and plunge it into my side. What? Are you crazy? Fine, and go get some duct tape. Rapido. Snel! Alright. I don't need to know another language to know bossy when I hear it. The fatal arrow to the side. Spiky hair created from 2 hands. A masterpiece in the making. Now cover me with that cloth. But remember to make the arrow stand out, okay? And we have a Mr. Wright statue, probably. Mommy, the arm's too short. Remember your inner voice, dear. Nobody's buying it. The arrow's nowhere near long enough. But what else could you use for the arm? Still won't give up, huh? I must commend you. Only for your spirit and determination. Of course, she's not giving up. After all she put me through, she owes me an explanation, and one that makes sense. No, disappoint me again, and the penalty will be doubly painful. Yikes. I guess I would better get it right this time. Think, Katina, think. Professor Court was murdered when she stopped by the stage to see Professor Meads. If it wasn't him daily, he must have used something close a hand in his little ruse. Apollo, show me those stage set photos again. Like that? Right now? Oh, okay, hold on. Please, please, please. Please be in the photo. It just has to be. The arm of Mr. Wright's statue is really this right here. Oh my god. I'm gonna do a save again. I don't know wat die arm is. De staf is het niet, want hij had de staf wel heel tijd bezig. Of was hij de staf? Had hij de staf heel de tijd bezig? Oh, hier is al de dingen. Kijk, hier is het al aan het uitsteken. Dus, dan is het gewoon de houtstructuur. Look at this. It makes an even better arm than Mr. Wright's own appendage. This is right here. Mr. Wright's not gonna like this. Huh? Never mind. Oh, ik vond toch wel dat het de arm zelf was. Blijkbaar is dat niet goed. Oh. Oké, we krijgen even zo dat Culty verdekt. Dat de defense is Culty. Bij dat houtstructuur zag je duidelijk zo de houtstik uitsteken, dus. Try again. Because it's safe there, moet ik normaal daarop beginnen, dus. Ja. Ik vond dat het wel kon. Ik bedoel... Kijk op die foto daar. Dat gaat toch? Kijk, het stikt toch uit? Maar blijkbaar niet. Is dan toch zijn staf? Ik kan niks anders bedenken. Got it. I know what he used for the arm on the statue of Mr. Wright. That's a bird. There's no such thing in this photo. Haha. Don't play dumb with me, Professor. If the staff you have right there... Staff? This is a spear of a great legal warrior. Whatever, just hurry up and lend it to me. The length is perfect. Mr. Wright couldn't have possibly object to such an awesome arm. Okay, you go for it, Apollo. Sure, I will give your arm a hand. Cloth and binding coming right up.
Objection!
And we lijk op Mr. Wright's statue. It's Phoenix Wright. Look, it's his famous lawyer. That's definitely him. I would know that pose anywhere. We did it, didn't we? Ha ha ha! Well, am I not the spitting image of the legendary Phoenix Wright, the man who will bring us out of these dark ages and into the area of brilliant golden light? Golden light? All I see before me is the pink specter of a man. Ha ha ha! That's just because Mr. Wright likes a statue, he's possibly tickled pink. Get it, Apollo? He's tickled pink. Wow, that joke deserves a pink slip. Aw. It seems the gallery is quite impressed with the defense, sharp thinking, and the witness. Wow, it resembles is nothing more than a coincidence.
Objection!
Not so fast there, Buster. Unfortunately for you, I can prove my theory to be more than mere coincidence. Prove that his spear was thrust into the victim. All I have to do is... that's a spear of blood. We had assumed the victim's jagged wound came from the arrow being forcibly shuffled in. But if the wound was from the spear instead, then we should be able to detect traces of the victim's blood on it. Your Honor, a brief recess, if you will. By any means possible. What if I get rid of my spear? Wait, what if I burn it? Oh, he wants to go get rid of the evidence. What's wrong with a non-guilty verdict? If I do that, I will be found innocent. Yes, I'm innocent, I tell you.
Objection!
You're not innocent. Surely you don't expect us to take lectures from you now. Now, I ask you in the gallery. Help me decide Professor's fate. Bathroom detail? Bathroom detail? Oh. Retake bar exam? Salary cut. Smice. Prison. Uh-oh. Ik houdt dit al tegen. Oh, kijk, zijn tandjes gaan. De crate dust. The crate dust. Prosecutor Blackwell, what has become of our witness, our sole means. It is a psych, so no suspected blood was detected on his staff. He has admitted to this heinous crime, all of it. Nice. He shall join us in the clinic tomorrow. His teaching skills can be put to good use there. Great, he will teach the felons that the end justifies the means. So much for rehabilitation. Yes, ja, die gaan nooit meer te goede komen in society. Can I ask what the professor's motive was? I could barely make out a word he said on account of his shattered teeth. One of Blackwell's fellow inmates was once a surgeon. Why not a former dentist too? I've eventually had him put pen to paper. It turns out Professor Means was the one taking bribes. The victim had suspected him after a report from the class snitch. That led her to question him at length the day of the killing, right there on that stage. The result, a heinous crime that was brought before this court. The fool like Newman had come to know of the script's contents via the victim's notes. It seems he came up with a plan to stab the victim with her own awl in order to make the killing look like the one in the script and thus frame the defendant. But that sharp of paper with Hughes' name had the same mark as Professor Court's planner. Yes, about that. Those planners are bestowed upon all students graduating on top of their classes. Really? So then, Indeed, once upon a time, Professor Means was also awarded with the same notebook. The handwriting is being analyzed now, but likes us not, the scrap belonged to him. This too was evidence of the bribery scheme that the victim had obtained. Known that Constance's court was clean and that only Aristotle Means took the bribes. To think of Professor would murder a colleague, then try to pin it to a student. If this is the dark age of law, then we can only hope that a brighter future awaits. And the first step is to hand down my verdict for the promising young lady. This court finds the defendant Juniper Woods not guilty. Woo! Case closed. I wish you all the best on your road to become a courtroom judge. We will need young people like you, if we ever hope to restore the law to its former glory. Yes, Your Honor, I will work as hard as I can. Maybe one day I will be able to work with all of you to make a difference. Proudly serve Professor Court's memory. Do not let her death be in vain. That's the last thing I expect to hear from him today. Court is adjourned. Nice. October the 26th. District Court, Defendant, Lobby number 3. Thank you, Tina. I really mean it. Hahaha, it was nothing, really. I can take the biggest tangle mess of a case and unravel it just like that. I don't know. You look pretty wounded out there at the end, literally and figuratively. You're pretty hungry for a knuckle sandwich, Buster. I wanted to thank you too, Apollo. Haha, don't mention it. The way you were always there for Tina when she was in the bind. And at the detention center where your smile gave me hope when there was none. It was like a warm ray of the sun shining down on peaceful woodlands. I think you're an absolutely amazing person. Thank you, Juniper. That means a lot to me. But I still have lots of work to do, and I can't wait until we see you in the judge's bench. Ha ha ha! I promise you will get there someday. That's why until that day, I will... Guys, I've got some big news. I mean, this is huge. Oh, am I interrupting something? No, it's okay, I think. So, what's the big news? The school festival. It was supposed to have been cancelled after what happened, but we just got a call. In memory of Professor Constance Court, who worked so hard to make it happen. The festival is being extended one extra day until tomorrow. Really? Alright! Festival, let's go.
We've got a special treat for all of you. A love letter for Themis Legal Academy. Achtung, baby. It's time for the Guitar Serenade.
Cute. October the 27th. Themis Legal Academy, 3rd, 4th, Lecture Hall. Wow, that was so much fun. School festivals are amazing. I think you and Robin are getting a little carried away. Ah, your singing voice, Juniper. Well, you singing voice, Juniper. It could melt my H-E-A-R-T heart. Ah. Mr. Wright, thank you for that training seminar. Haha, just remember, the objection post is all about attitude. Oh, and congrats on your mock trial win. Although Robin had you for a while there. I did, didn't I? But I'm just glad we're back to how we used to be. Thanks to Athena. And you know what? I think I will stick with to become a prosecutor after all. I'm going to make up for my mock trial loss by winning the real deals in court. Mock trial loss? What loss? Wait, did they reprise the trial and you won? Level-headed lawyer, course genius, and hot-blooded prosecutor, course student will go head-to-head in a mock trial battle for the She-Devil's Black Heart. So, does this mean it's really gonna happen? Junior, there's something I've been wanting to say to you. Oh, is he going to do what I think he is? Juniper, can we still be friends? You know, best friends like we've always been, huh? Best friends? You, weren't you going to profess your love for Juniper if you won the mock trial? No, I was going to confess that I'm not a genius and that I'm really 25 years old. But you already dragged it out of me during the trial. Whoops. Oopsie. Listen, you too, Robin. Miriam. Oh, Miriam is er ook weer bij. De box me too. Miriam's got the statistical espionage action stuff down to a science. Okay. I've been thinking. It's up to us to put an end to the dark age of the law if we can. Let's all work together to usher in a new age by winning only results from the truth. And the end never justifies the means. Count me in. I wouldn't have it any other way. Best friends forever, huh? No matter what anyone says, nothing beats true friendship. You bet. And what about your BFF Apollo? Aren't you a bit old to be using that word? But yeah, he's the best friend a guy could have. Oh, Peter Bevan, I think. Als we het over hebben. Oeps, sorry guys. Ik wil even kijken wat mijn gsm wil zeggen. Mijn gsm was aan het plingen. Which reminds me, we're supposed to meet up and gossip about the new girl in the office. Hey! No talking about behind me. Fuck. No talking about me behind my back. So, what kind of guy is he anyway? Well, if I had to describe him in one word, he's nice. And so, after some slight arm-twisted, Apollo promised to bring me to meet his friend. Unfortunately, that promise was never meant to be fulfilled. Oh wait, that's the space guy. For no long after, their friendship was mercilessly severed by fate. And the bonds between us began to fray and unravel as well. Sorry, but I will be taking a leave of absence. Even now, those words continue to ring in my ears. The discord in our ever-cheerful Apollo's voice made him sound so cold and distant. Why, Apollo? Why? Why would you leave us all behind? The end of this case. Let's go to the next case. Okay, Cosmic Turnabout. Okay. The space program. Let's go to space. The courtroom bombing incident. A terrible attack launched by the will of a madman. That incident perfectly symbolized the state of the legal world in this dark age of the law. Mr. Wright brought it to the resolution of sorts. That tornado was discovered to be the one responsible for the bombing. If If only it was that simple. Somehow I can't help but think. That there's a darker influence at work. One that's lurking into the shadows waiting. That is why I want to review the trial that was taking place when the bombing occurred. After all, I've got more than a few personal stakes in it. Okay, the cosmic turnabout. Let's go. Ja, mijn neus is weer heel tijd aan het jeuken, dus niet opletten. Als ik heel weer zat ik een krabben als ik gek. Into space!
Remaining until launch. Please begin your final equipment check. Check complete. Everything's A-okay. We're ready here whenever you are.
Well, that's not ready.
Come in at 2. Come in. Do you copy?
Rip. December the 16th, 9:12 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby number 5. Time for another trial to begin. But this one is different. Oké, nu zijn we Apollo. Sorry to bother you, but... Oh, hey, Woods. Are you alright, Apollo? Hi. Was I making a scary face just now? Oh, hi, Juniper. Yes, I'm fine. I was just doing my Court of Steel exercises. Now, I'm all ready to go. Yes. Knowing you, I'm sure you will be just fine. Oh, I bought you a present for my garden. Aw, what is it? Is this a lotus wood? That's right, my grandmama says lotus wood is good for your eyes. Aww. She even says that if you look through the holes, it can help you see into the future. It's for good luck. Maybe later you can cook it and... Thanks for this. I'm gonna have some right now. Oh my. Kinda tough though. Haha, you can't eat it raw, but... Thank you for the enthusiastic try. Oops. If she didn't think me weird before, she will now. I've gotta calm down. Apollo, I'm sorry I'm late. Hi, Tina. Judy, I didn't know you were coming today. Did you come to cheer Apollo on? Oh, I get it. You sly little thing, you. Ha ha ha. Tina, stop. Oh, dit is de trial waar de bom was geweest. Quit kidding around, Tina. The trial's about to start any second. Is everything all set? Oh, Apollo, when will you ever figure it out? Figure out what? Wow, that was the longest sign I've ever heard. Huh? This is it. It's all over for me. They're gonna find me guilty. Okay, this is our client. This is our client, one Mr. Solomon Saul Starbuck. He is a very famous astronaut who happens to be an acquaintance of mine. You wouldn't know it right now, but he's usually a very upbeat and driven person. The scene of the crime this time happened to the Cosmos Space Center. Back in high school, my best friend and I went there almost a little too much. But that's where we met Mr. Starbuck. We would ask about space travel and he would launch into story after story with so much passion. Back in the days, the man was 100% my hero. Aw, cute. Is he so happy nu? Are you sure you're okay with being my lawyer, Apollo? Of course I'm sure. You know, Miss Starbuck, I know you're not the type of committing murder. Thanks, but... I was supposed to be in space right about now. He's so depressed, it almost seems like an act. The launch getting called off must have been a huge shock. Wel, met zo'n explosie en een murder, wel, ik zou ook de launch afkallen. I'll probably never get the chance to go into space again. Don't say that. Don't stop believing. Besides, you just have to go into space again. Yeah, I don't think I could face Clay in the afterlife if I just rotted away in a cell. Clay Terran, I can't believe he was murdered. Who? I mean, he was such a promising astronaut under your command. Yeah, he was a good guy, always there to pick me up when I was down. No one loved life as much as him, that's for sure. He was always so full of energy, telling me, "You're fine, Mrs. Starbuck." How could something like this happen to a guy like him, huh? I've seen Mrs. Starbuck so down. Clay's gone and I'm going to prison. I wish I could burn up like a shooting star right now. Mr. Starbucks, you will be fine, huh? What was it? What's with the yelling? I will get to the bottom of this today. You will see. And in exchange, I want you to go back into space for you and Clay. Promise. Does that mean you have lots of evidence to prove my innocence? Oh, well, about that. We didn't get to investigate the area as much as we would have liked. Thanks to the police. I'm done for. I'm a goner. Everyone thinks I did it. Thought I was gonna soar like a comet, but I'm just gonna crash like a meteor. No, don't say that, Mrs. Starbuck. Don't count yourself out yet. I know it's hard to lose a teammate, but you've got to keep going. And what about you, Apollo? What about me? I was just thinking, wasn't Clay your best friend? We need to focus on the trial right now. Are you all ready to go? Apollo? The trial is about to begin, and the defense would please proceed into the courtroom. Okay, let's say. Okay, here we go. This is it. This is one trial I can't afford to lose. Okay, let's go. For Clay's sake and our clients, I will find Clay's killer. Ik weet niet waarom ik altijd zo een jeukneus heb de laatste tijd. Ik moet extra eens mee... Oké, misschien is die voor. Zalf of zo gebruik. Courtroom nummer 4. Die was geëxplodeerd. Dus dit is denk ik het verhaal van de explosie op zelf. Always. Denk ik. Court is now in session for the trial of Solomon Starbuck. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Ah nee, dit is after the trial, after the explosion. Excuse me, Mr. Justice, want hij heeft de dingen aan. Yes, Your Honor. See? It was just after the explosion. What happened to your eye? I'm fine. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Are you sure? I don't... I'm fine, Your Honor. The defense is ready. I'm sorry, Your Honor. He's been like this since yesterday. He keeps insisting it's just a stay. I suppose it's something he doesn't want to discuss. Maybe he's entering a touchy age. Very well. And the prosecution? Hey, Blackwell, how are you doing? The prosecution appears to be ready as well.
Silence.
Oh, what is er? What is er, Blackwell? Not yet. I'm not quite ready yet. Oh, wauw, hij begint al met de shackles. Normaal is dat midden in de battle. Nu doet hij de shackles al begin net uit. Well, he's ready now. The prosecution is now ready. Well, it didn't take him long this time. Yep. What's up with Blackwell? Now then, I shall give the opening statement.
Silence.
I will do it. Blackwell, are you feeling alright? Heb je een koorts of zo? Of ben je ziek? Of wat is er mis met jou? You will? What an unexpected surprise. This time I can't leave it to anyone else. I see. Something is off with the two of you today. Both seem different somehow. Yeah. Very well. Prosecutor Blackwell, your opening statement, if you would. It was just yesterday. The crimes in question occurred at the Cosmos Space Center. The famous federal research facility of all things related to astrology, right? Astronomy. It's astronomy. Anyway, a rocket was set to launch from there. But at 9:28 a.m., before they could even move the rocket to the launch site, two explosive devices were detonated and the launch was cancelled. My world. Two bombs. How dreadful. The defendant in today's trial is charged with both the bombing and with murder. One Mr. Solomon Starbuck. For whatever insane reason, he detonated a bomb on the rocket he himself would be in. Solomon Starbuck. I recognize that name. Isn't that a famous astronaut? Correct, Your Wildness. Mr. Starbuck was the pilot of the Het 1 rocket 7 years ago. As you may recall, despite some interstellar trouble, its mission was a success. Some say it was a miracle he returned alive. I suppose you could say he is a living legend. Oh, I remember now. He's become something of an international celebrity, right? Mankind's hope for the future, I've got to make it back alive. The Het 1 miracle. Okay. They even turned that incident into a movie and everything. I've got a real space pioneer in court today. But even heroes tremble from their lofty heights. Returning to the subject at hand. Yes. The victim was one Mr. Clay Tarrant, a subordinated of the defendant. Indeed. A loyal, brutally stabbed to death by his mentor. Stabbed to death, you say? You mean his death wasn't a result of the bombing? Correct. Despite his lofty dreams, the victim was seen as an interloper by the defendant. And so, he was sent not into space, but to the universal which we mortals cannot see. Play. I think I've heard enough. The case seems pretty clear-cut at this point. However, there is one thing I'm curious about. A metal box next to the witness stand. This is the bombing day. What purpose does it serve exactly? Since you asked so nicely. It's your coffin. Nee, het is iemand anders zijn coffin. Iemand anders zit erin. Have mercy on me. I jest. It's evidence. Due to its immense size, I have little choice but to lay it where it rests now. We shall get to the contents of the box in due time. Phew, I feel like I just lost 50 years of my life. Does he even have 50 years left? Inner monologue, Athena, inner monologue. Enough jabbering. Okay, dit is voor de trial. For the bombing. Bobby Fulbright writes the name, and justice we trust. Detective Fulbright. Very well then, please explain the details of the incident to the court if you would. On it, first take a look at this pamphlet from the Cosmos Space Center. In it, you will find a diagram outlining the overall layout of the Space Center. Okay, launchpad, floors, and Space Museum. Ha, there we are. For a more detailed look at what's on the left side of the building, middle level, upper level, elevator, low level, launchpad 1 corridor, and launch on the 3rd floor. Okay, take a look at the cross section that we the police have created. See the launchpad and the main building? The launchpad is a square building, and the rounded structure is the main building white. You got it? The incident took place in the launchpad 1 and in the main building's launch. I will be using the diagram during my testimony. It will make it easier to understand. Thanks. Okay, thanks. Let's go. Witness testimony. Details of the case. Just before the rocket was set to launch, 2 bombs went off. Boom! Boom! One of the 2nd floor of the Space Center's main building and one at launchpad 1. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts were in launchpad 1 at the time. 2 of them managed to make it back, as far as the boarding launch. But after the escape, one of the 2 was found stabbed to death. Waren er geen 3 in het begin? In de film? A murder on top of a bombing. Detective, the victim was already dead by the time you arrived at the launch, correct? Yep, thinking. He would sabotage the bombing. The defendant attacked and killed the victim. Just look at this tragic photo. Oh wow, what is that? Oh my, is that a knife in the victim's chest? Yes, Your Honor. It's the knife that cruelly ended this young man's dreams. We couldn't get any prints of it, too, because the defendant was in his spacesuit. Utility knife added to the court record. Okay, by the way, Detective Fulbright, why are the victim's helmet and white glove absent in this photograph? Good question. I had to remove them to identify him, Your Honor. I personally removed his glove during the investigation. He had to get his fingerprints to confirm his identity after all. Yes, it would be very difficult to identify him without a face or fingerprints. Now, there's just one more thing I would like to inquire about. What is that round thing next to the victim in this photo? Something so important to the victim, he took it with him as an escape, the launchpad. A capsule that apparently contains asteroid samples. While obviously valuable for research purposes, it has no relation to this case. I see. So we know that the bomb in the main building was on the 2nd floor, but where was the bomb that was on the launchpad 1 located? Hey, that one was on the rocket itself. It was situated around the central part of the rocket. Apparently the area around the launchpad's elevator was a sea of flames. I would like to submit this diagram and report into the record. Thanks. The trials just started and we're already in a bind. You get used to it. Besides, that's what cross-examination is for, right? What the 2 astronauts were doing during the bombing. That will be the key. Okay, let's go. Just before the rocket was set to launch, 2 bombs went off. Boom, boom. Hold it! Let's press. How powerful were the explosions? Well, the one in the main building wasn't strong enough to bring the place down. With the boom, it went off. It was burned black. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Due in large part, of course, to me stepping up to lead the evacuation. Wait, what were you doing there in the first place, Detective Fulbright? Ha ha ha! I'm Bobby Fulbright, hero of justice. Help will be there wherever and whenever people need my help. I would go to the other side of the world or even the edge of the universe. I'm not sure he knows how far that actually is. But I guess I will leave that one alone. Admirable decision, Justice Dono. Huh? What did he decide? Anyway, could you describe what it was like at the Space Center at the time? The bomb cut power to the central bank of elevators and the third floor lounge. Nog even. Okay. It was pitch black in there, I tell you. However, the security cameras and whatnot were running on emergency backup. And how did the evacuation go? I immediately and heroically whiskered people down to the Space Center's basement shelter. The basement shelter? Yes, there's an emergency shelter beneath the Space Center. An emergency shelter, huh? Oh, here it is. It's at the bottom of the diagram. Okay, that's the shelter. A Space Center's pretty impressive. Impressive to have its own shelter. Evacuation report added to the court's records. The power outrage and evacuation seems unrelated to the murder at this point. I guess I will leave it aside for now. So there were 2 explosions in total, correct? Yep, that's right. One on the 2nd floor of the Space Center's main building and one on the launch pad 1. Let me get this straight. Mr. Starbuck rigged a rocket he was going to board with explosives? What are you talking about? If the defendant really did plant a bomb on his own rocket, he would get caught in the explosion as well. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Fine. And simpleton for a simpleton. Fulbright the motive. Understood. The defendant actually had astrophobia. Astrophobia? What's that? A fear of space. Naturally, just the thought of space can cause the afflicted to freeze up. And so, in his terror, the defendant found a way to stop the launch at the last minute. That's absurd. Unfortunately for you, we have evidence. Take a look at these. What are they? These anti-anxiety tablets are found among the defendant's possessions. Apparently, he was taking them in secret to quell his fears. There were a multitude of problems with the rocket Mr. Starbucks wrote 7 years ago. Rumor has it that it threatened to crash a number of times as well. That was, of course, very traumatic for Mr. Starbuck.
Objection!
But that doesn't mean he would go so far as to blow up his own ship.
Silence!
Could he? The defendant couldn't bear to mar his good name. Now, could he? No, not after the media had branded him Sol Starbuck, Space Pioneer Extraordinaire. Given these contradictions, the defendant could hardly run away like some base mute. What? That's why you think he resorted to the bombing? Naturally, he constructed his act of sabotage in an attempt to blow up the Space Center, which would effectively abort the launch, with spare his reputation. Now, I'm sure you understand why we have to bring justice down on this atrocious criminal. Okay. Thankfully, only the 2 astronauts went in Launchpad 1 at the time. Are you sure it was only the 2 of them? It was just before the spaceship was set to launch, so of course it was only those 2. Well, there could have been somebody else inside that rocket.
Silence!
Sorry again. That notion of a third party is launching pad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the launch, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device. And allow me to state up front that there are precious few with the clearance to do so. A fingerprint recognition device. It sounds as futuristic and complex as a space center. Actually, it's not as amazing as you think, Your Honor. Take a look at this photo. This is the door to the lounge with the fingerprint lock. Only personnel who fingerprints are registered can pass through. I see. That is very different from what I had in mind. And is there a record of the number of people that passed through that door yesterday? Yes, there were only 3. The defendant, the victim, and the director of the Space Center, Yuri Cosmo. Then doesn't that mean it's possible that the director is the one who did it? Not a chance. He was in the main building when the bombs exploded at 9:28, doing his job directing the launch. Besides having an alibi, he has no motive. Oh, sorry guys. Oh man, echt waar, sorry. Ik ben echt gewoon moe. Of ja, moe. Ik ben niet echt moe, maar ik ben gewoon te gaaf. En gewoon die live knop heeft volgens mij echt gewoon een virus in mij gestoken van... Oké, je drukt op live knop, je neus begint te jeuken. En je moet de hele tijd je neus snuiten. En je begint de hele tijd te gapen. Volgens mij is dat gewoon een knop die daarvoor dient. Besides having an alibi, he has no motive for committing this senseless act. Has a point. I guess the director can't be considered a suspect then. Okay. The two of them managed to make it back as far as the boarding lounge.
Hold it!
Okay. So while it would appear that the pair barely escaped with their lives, is actually one of them had already been murdered inside the rocket. That's the angle the prosecution wants to push, correct? You got it. In fact, that's what I have been trying to say this whole time. If the victim had been alive, he would have for sure tried to stop the bombing. Is there any chance Mr. Tehran could have been killed before he boarded the rocket? They were both alive and well at boarding time and embarked under their own power. Their hearts full of hope and dreams of space. Oh man, ik heb echt een jeukneus hè. Ik weet niet wat het is man. Iets in deze kamer is op mij. Echt heel de dag geen last van gehad hè. Maar echt heel de dag geen last van gehad. Okay, let's go. Their hearts full of hope and dreams of space. And the both of them hopes and dreams were dashed. If I may continue my explanation after the evacuation order was given. The defendant made his escape carrying the victim to make it look like a rescue. But after the escape, one of the two was found stabbed to death.
Hold it!
Yes. And who was the first to find the victim? Actually, there were 2 of them. Space Center Director Yuri Cosmos and Director Candace Arm. One of them was a detective. Yep, Detective Arm specialized in bombings, you see. She and the director were ordering the evacuation following the explosions. They were also worried about the astronauts, so they hurried over to the boarding lounge. That's when they discovered the victim along with the defendant. 2 witnesses, huh? And one of them is a detective. I doubt either one would have anything to say that would help me. I think that pretty much covers the details of the case. Only the victim and the defendant were on the launch pad when the former was killed. If this is true, then only Mr. Starbuck could have carried out this crime. What little I could get out of him only hurt my case. Justice don't know. Foolish is the warrior who rushes headlong into battle. Preparation is an essential element of battle, so I advise you to take a grander at this. What is it? It's a DVD. Footage from a security camera. Okay. Also 2 astronauts emerge from the bowels of the Launchpad 1 corridor. 50. The boarding launch security camera captured their desperate escape. No, I would direct your attention to what the defendant is shouldering. Er is hier iets met 50. Which you can see is none other than the lifeless body of the victim. What? Order, I say. This lines up exactly with what the prosecution has been asserting. I should have known Blackwell would have something like this ready. Good camera added to the court record. What is... Apollo? Give me 2 seconds, Athena. Ik zie hier geen uitsteeksel. Maar hij is hier dat raakt met die 50. Wat is die 50? Is het misschien omgekeerd dat eruit komt gedragen dat dat de defendant is? Dat de victim? Ik weet het niet meer, het is te lang geleden. Apollo, how exactly did they determine that Clay was already caught in the footage? Ah, I see what you mean. Whether Clay was still alive at this point is pretty crucial. Your Honor, please take another look at the footage. Is it possible that Mr. Terran was still alive here and that Mr. Starbuck was helping him? Why, I believe you're right. One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship.
Silence.
Perhaps that's what it looks like to a one-eyed hothead and a dotard. But it only makes sense if it's the victim's dead body. What do you mean? Fulbright, explain it to Justice Dono. You got it. Ready, kid? If the murder had occurred in the launch, someone could have spotted it. And you can enter the launch after all. But doing it while they were alone in a spaceship? That's a horse of a different color.
Objection!
Okay, but you can't deny that there's a possibility the murder could have happened in the launch. All the video shows is a man helping his fellow astronaut out.
Silence.
Your assertion is based on emotion. It's based in your belief that Mr. Starbuck would surely help his own but you have no logic explanation as to why the victim could be still be alive. Ja. Wel, ik wil ook jou. Waar is jouw proof that he is already dead? Unfortunately, Mr. Justice, the prosecution is right. Your argument is lacking in sound logic. And what is zijn argument? But it sounded perfectly logical to me. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further objections, I believe it's time to bring this cross-examination to a close. Objections? Well,
Hold it!
Okay, Athena. Your Honor, the defense requests a little time to think and regroup. Given the facts, I'm not sure I see the need. What is it, Athena? It's just... There's something something that's been bothering me. If it isn't the defense stalling for time, as always. Very well, I'm feeling generous. You may have a small measure of time. Yes. You have 5 seconds. 5 seconds? After that, I declare this cross-examination to be closed and the verdict to be re-rendered. Your boldness, raise your gavel high. It's time for a countdown. Oh. Ready? We don't have time. Spit it out, Athena. Only 3 more seconds. Yikes. Look, I don't think the prosecution's explanation is very complete. Meaning there's something missing. Like they convincingly left it unexplained. Something they didn't explain? Something they didn't explain. Ah, you're right. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know. Your 5 seconds are up, Mr. Justice. Is there anything about the prosecution's argument that you would like to rebut? Yes, Your Honor. Actually, there is something the prosecution has yet to make clear to this court. Well, if you put it that way. What is that the prosecution has failed to explain? Why the body was moved? Indeed, why was it moved? They have failed to explain why Mrs. Starbuck would bother bringing the body back at all. If the defendant wanted to kill the victim, why didn't he just leave his body in the rocket? Why go through the trouble of bringing him all the way back to the boarding lounge? Oh, that's true. I don't think we have heard that prosecution's thought on the prosecutions on that yet. That's because they have none, Your Honor. After all, how does one explain something so illogical? The prosecution is claiming that the defendant moved the victim's dead body. But what if the entry premise of that argument is wrong? Then let's hear your theory, Mr. Justice. The defense proposes that the defendant didn't kill the victim, he was helping him. Aight! Fool Wright, explain it for a sad friend here, before I nod off to his monotone monologue. Inform him exactly why Spaceboy moved the victim. Huh? They've got to be joking. It's simple. Mr. Starbuck did what he did to direct suspicion away from himself. He wanted to create the impression he heroically risked his life to save his partner. That's why he made sure to make it to the security camera so there would be a record. At the very least, he appeared to have achieved success with you, the old man. Ha! One man carrying the other to safety. What a beautiful expression of friendship. The average person wearing a spacesuit weighs easily over 200 pounds, saving the life of a partner who weighs as much while trying to escape deadly flames. What a dramatic sob story fits for the silver screen. Indeed, I was completely taken by the humanity of the story. You see, yet the true ending is that all traces of his hammy act were meant to be blown up. Yes, and now we arrive at the thrilling conclusion. The third explosion. There was a third explosion?
Objection!
What are you talking about? There was no third explosion.
Silence.
Indeed, you are correct. But that is thanks to Detective Arm. It was she who identified and secured the bomb. However, it doesn't change the fact that the third bomb was discovered in the launch. A steel coffin beside the witness stand, that would be a bomb transport case. We used that to transport the deactivated bomb here. It was found in the launch, a bomb in the form of the most distasteful toy. What? One on the second floor of the main building, one on the launch pad and one in the launch. The defendant planned to set off 3 firework displays. Unfortunately, fortunately, the third was discovered before it could be detonated, for had it not. The victim's body and the other vital evidence would surely have been immolated.
Objection!
Ah! Before you utter a word, know that the evidence supports me. It's like he's reading my mind. As it is still undergoing forensic investigation, I do not have the evidence on hand. However, known that a particular item was found in one of Mrs. Starbuck's pockets. Specifiek in Nederlands, a bomb detonation switch. The hard words. Bye. You found what? A bomb detonation. I suspect the defendant had no time to destroy such damning evidence. When the Space Center director and Detective Arm stumbled across the murder, so he thought he'd hide it in his pocket. feeble-brained that he is. Ah. No, Mrs. Starbuck would never do anything like that. Ah. Easy met dat zwaard, jong. Ik heb al een oog uit. Blijkbaar. Justice don't know. Open your eyes and see the truth. This appears to be irrefutable evidence that the accused set off the explosions. Laat me even de gsm blijft gewoon plingen. No, there has to be some kind of mistake. This can't be the truth. Still can't accept it. You believe in your client. Come what may. Then why don't you cross-examine the defendant himself? This has got to be a trap. It's like Blackwell's controlling the entire game. Yeah, it seems like he was waiting for me to bring up the body-moving issue. Why do you say that? Because he had just the right argument when I pointed it out. And to really rub it in, he had a decisive piece of evidence up his sleeve too. He was trying to shake my faith in Mrs. Starbuck and break me down. Then, making a cross-examine Mrs. Starbuck at this point was part of his plan too. Totally underhanded, but I wouldn't expect anything less from him. Now, let us hear from the arch-villain, the friendish murderer himself, famed astronaut Solomon Starbuck. Witness, your name and occupation, please. Solomon Starbuck, astronaut. How did this happen? Mr. Starbuck, you aren't looking very well. Will you be able to give testimony? No. Well, unfortunately, no is not an option. You are being accused of the Space Center bombing and the murder of Clay Terran. Please testify to these allegations. Mind if I take this suit off? It's getting really heavy.
Silence.
It's not the weight of the suit that you feel, but of your sins. Prepare to carry that weight for the rest of your life. Banish me to the moon. I don't care anymore. Wow, that was super negative. Is he going to be all right up there? He will be fine, I think. As long as he doesn't totally give up and say he did it, that is. Nah. Okay, witness testimony. Let's go. I didn't kill him. All I did was support Clay over my shoulder and get us out of the rocket. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. Whatever, the elevator down. Explosion sparked a fire in the second floor on the main building and the middle level of the launch pad near the elevator. Doesn't that make the bombs went off despite the sides? Is hier niet iets van... Okay. Like always, I took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. Clay had passed out by the time he got to the order to evacuate. I didn't kill Clay. I was trying to save him. Okay, let's just press. En als er niks opkomt, dan ga ik die ene van die lift doen. So you assert you didn't set off the bombs or murder the victim. Haha. But I bet you think I'm lying, right? I reserve all judgment until after I've heard your full testimony. I'm sure you don't believe me. I bet you don't even believe I'm an astronaut. I don't think the judge doubts that. Who would wear a suit like that except an astronaut? I will say that when I saw you in that movie, you appeared quite courageous to, I suppose, really never quite lives up to fantasy. I guess I'm just a big disappointment. Haha, haha. I really don't care what happens anymore. Ha ha ha. Oh no, he's completely given up. Huh? What a depressing fellow. If you were to join me in the clink, I imagine that anyone's signing of yours would rub off on the other inmates. Like how it rubbed off on Prosecutor Blackwell a second ago? Huh? That was Blackwell's sign? Mr. Starbuck's testimony contains a glaring contradiction. The question is, what does it mean? Even if Mr. Starbuck is my client, I can be gun-shy now. It's time to find out the truth. He always took the elevator down to the middle level and headed for the corridor. Gaat het wel naar de middle level? Ik ga dit presenten al.
Objection!
Oké, het is wel juist. Ik had het gewoon al. Mr. Starbuck, I need your testimony to be as accurate as possible. Was I not being accurate? No, because it's impossible for you to have taken the elevator down to the middle level. What makes you say that, Mr. Justice? Please recall where the bomb went off in Launchpad 1. Also recall that after the explosion, the middle level elevator was engulfed in flames. Oh, you're right. Which means... Exactly, the Launchpad's elevator would have been unusable. In other words... Mr. Starbuck, your statement is decidedly inconsistent with the facts. Oh, hij heeft zijn helm opgezet. What's with the helmet? Mission command. Do you read me? Command, please.
Objection!
This is mission command. I order you to pay attention. Stop this nonsense and answer my questions, Mr. Starbuck. My helmet. Oh, my oxygen tank. Je zit op aarde. Oxygen concentration and body temperature declining. Requesting medical assistance. Waarom is hij daarvoor aan het freaken? Dude, stay calm, please. And he's down. He's down. Yeah, I feel like him. I feel like Apollo. Mrs. Starbuck, we are not in space right now. Please stop pretending you have lost consciousness and stand back up. I apologize, Your Honor. I forgot I was still on Earth. I feel like we all just got a real glimpse of Solomon Starbuck, the astronaut. Yeah, he seems more like an astronaut now than when he was doing all that signing. Mr. Starbuck, could you please explain the inconsistency in your statement about how you used the middle level elevator? I was nervous and I said the wrong thing. I'm sorry. I actually took a different route, I think. A different route? There's a trap. I hope you're able to deliver a straight story this time. Right. I will get it right this time. Maybe, no. I mean, probably. Probably. It's understandable to be nervous, but let me remind you, accuracy is paramount in court. Yep. Okay, witness testimony. My escape route. Okay. Let's see. My escape route, what I said before, was a mistake. I remember now. I took a different route. Maybe, probably... With the capsule and clay in my arms, I made my way down from the upper level. So you're saying you escaped without using the elevator? That's right. There's a ladder that spans the upper and middle levels. I used the ladder to get to the middle level. Luckily, the fire hadn't reached the ladder, so we could make our escape that way. And the capsule you mentioned? I suppose you mean that thing next to Mr. Terran here. Was the capsule that important that you would risk your life to take it with you? It almost goes without saying, but yeah, that capsule contains asteroid samples. Therefore, it's invaluable as research material. With his spacesuit on, Clay weighed a ton, but securing the capsule was also important. I need you to answer to the best of your ability. Mr. Starbuck, please remember what your verdict is riding on your testimony. Ha ha ha. Maybe I'm guilty after all. I wonder if we can see the stars in prison, but it's more comfortable than the spaceship. Wel, dan moet je aan Mr. Blackwell vragen. Hij zit in de bak, dus... Oké, let's see. Maar hoe kan hij een trap doen met 2 mensen vast? Dat vraag ik me af. Ik ga hier even eerst op drukken. Ik weet niet of ze hierop wil doorgaan, maar ik wil hierop doorgaan.
Hold it!
The upper level of the launchpad area. That's right. That's what I said, isn't it? Granted, a route does exist. So to recap, you and Clay over your right shoulder and the capsule in your left hand. Yeah, it's really important, so I couldn't let it get burned up. So even Clay was really heavy, I couldn't afford to carry him with both hands. I did the best I could with him over one shoulder and the capsule in my other hand. I don't think the meaning of what he just said has hit him yet. You know what you have to do with that statement? Justice or no? I know, yes, I know. But I've come this far, no turning back now. It's time to present some evidence. So Mr. Starbuck escaped the Clay and the capsule, which means it's just like in the footage. I can see why he couldn't run though. He must have weighed over 200 pounds, just by himself. Yeah, and he had to support Clay, who was another 200 pounds. Plus, he had to ensure the safety of that capsule. I don't think I could have walked under those circumstances. Walking straight forward is probably about all I would have been able to manage. Okay. Ja, de enige dat ik kan bedenken is de blueprint with the ladder.
Objection!
I was right. Mr. Starbuck, why don't you just tell the truth? The truth? Let's see. The Earth is blue. No, that's not right. So, I guess the Earth isn't blue? Yeah, that's it. The truth, Mr. Starbuck. The oxygen concentration is super low in this area. Prepare the emergency oxygen tanks. Mr. Justice, the witness appears confused. Please, help draw out the truth from him. Mr. Starbuck, under the circumstances at the time, you couldn't possibly have reached the boarding launch via the upper level route. Huh? Not as long as this was along the escape route. The ladder.
Take that!
To get down from the upper to the middle level, where the Launchpad 1 corridor is, you would have to go down the ladder. Isn't that right, Mr. Starbuck? Of course, that was the only way we could escape.
Objection!
Uh-oh, but how would that work? At the time, you were supporting Mr. Terran over his shoulder, weren't you? And remember, he was in full space gear as well, putting him at over 200 pounds. Well, it's easy on the moon. Gravity is only 1/6 of what it is on Earth.
Objection!
But we're not on the moon. We zijn op aarde. But the Space Center is located on Earth, short of being an octopus climbing a ladder with an adult male in space gear in one arm, while carrying the capsule in the other is impossible, wouldn't you say? Oh. So, Mr. Starbuck, how exactly did you climb down the ladder with your arms full? Mr. Starbuck, come clean and tell us the truth. Now. Engineer, where is that engineer? Oxygen leak detected. Due to... What the? He is flying the coal. Help. I'm caught on the ceiling. Help? Anyone? Bailiff, prepare the cherry picker. We must launch our rescue mission at once. Well, that's one way to take off while being questioned. I rather prove his innocence so he can go to space again someday for real. Ik hoop dat de bailiff hem nog van het plafond afkrijgt. Ja, hij staat alweer terug op zijn dingetje. Now then, Mr. Starbuck, do you think you can keep your feet planted on the ground? Yes, I apologize for losing control. Are you ready to tell us the truth? Not that. Anything but that. What is going on? This isn't Mrs. Starbuck I know. It appears a space boy is prone to deception. Witness. Yikes. Yes? I thought your story odd, but perhaps the inconsistencies can be explained as the result of a medical side effect. Prosecutor Blackwell, please. Please don't talk about that. What are you talking about, Prosecutor Blackwell? Didn't I already say that the space boy is ironically terrified of going into space? That's why he took some precautions just before the launch. For you see, traces of the anti-anxiety drug were found in his system. Oh, I sense things are about to nosedive. You got it all wrong. I told them during the investigation too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication. I swear. It was found in his system, but he doesn't remember taking it. How could that be? Somebody must have slipped them to me. But I guess maybe that's why I don't remember. Because of the side effects. Yeah, that's why I don't remember much about what really happened. What? Order in the court. We can't get any useful testimony out of him if he doesn't remember anything. Well, this certainly explains why his testimony kept changing. Why didn't he just tell me he couldn't remember? I guess he didn't want anybody to find out he was terrified of going into space. Maybe I really did do it. Which brings us to the answer of our original question of how the witness climbed down the ladder with a dead body. It does. How does he do it with a dead body so the body was still alive? So what is it? A dead man feels no pain and makes no complaints. Justice Dunmo. Hij heeft echt dat hij er naar beneden heeft. So the body was simply dropped down from the top of the ladder. Heeft de dingen er iets voor te zeggen? Nope, niks van bruising. Oh my, I see. And then the defendant could climb down with his free hands. Drop the body down? Who could do such a disrespectful thing? Besides, dropping the body down would leave marks on the body itself. So you are capable of quick thinking. Yes, you are correct. Really? Oh, thanks. Ah! Huh? What's this? It's the oxygen tank from the victim's spacesuit. It's ruptured, and I'm sure you can figure out why. You can't be implying it ruptured when the defendant dropped the victim's body. I am, for they fractured easily when struck.
Objection!
Even if that's true, the tank explosion and shrapnel would leave its mark on the body. Yet, according to the autopsy report, only the knife wound was found on the victim's body. You're clearly gasping a straw with this line of reasoning.
Silence.
Ja, wat je ook speelt, daar krijg je. Als je van een hoog iets valt, ondanks dat je een lijk bent, heb je altijd nog wel iets daartussen. A spacesuit isn't heavy for the sake of being heavy, just don't know. Includes the latest technology devices and it's made of the fabric of tomorrow. The fabric is made to protect astronauts from the dangers of space. So falling a few Earth yards would hardly even leave a mark on the wearer.
Objection!
Can we test that? Then shouldn't it be possible to stab someone through it as well? It should. And yet, through sheer coincidence, the knife slipped through a weak spot in the suit's structure and found its way to its target. But what are the chances? You forget that our killer is an astronaut himself, with knowledge of how the suit works. Ah, he got me there. And now my argument has been proven. Spaceboy killed the victim in the rocket and then dropped the body from the upper level. Ik wil hier een testing van hebben dat als je body dropt in de suit geen markers zijn. Want ik wil er testing van hebben. After climbing down, he shouldered the body and made sure the camera recorded him. There's no room for debate about these facts. It is clear that Solomon Starbuck is the only one who could have killed Clay Terran. Here, the report regarding the astronauts' oxygen tanks. Consider it my send-off gift. Feel free to use it as payment to cross the river's Styx. Oxygen data accurate to the core data. Okay, the victim tank was captured with 0% left. The defendants had 80 remaining oxygen in his display on the left shoulder. 80? Hey, this report is pretty detailed. Dit klopt niet, die 80, want als die 88 heeft, how does he have 50 over here? Zo, dit is ze zijn gewoon geswitcht, dat weet ik al nu al. Hey, this report is pretty detailed. The display on the astronaut's left shoulder shows the oxygen remains after the incident. The victim's tank was ruptured and the remaining oxygen was 0%. The tank belonged to Starbuck, who claimed to be fully carried. The victim said it was 80% full. Wow. The tank belonged to Starbuck, who claimed to have carried the victim. Said it was 80% full. Let's see the display on the astronaut's left shoulder show how much oxygen remains. I guess that means those glowing crayon digits represent the amount of oxygen remaining. I'm done for. I'm going to prison instead of space. Spaceboy. Yes? Take heart. To be viewed, night sky is still beautiful even when viewed through bars. You mean the stars are seen from prison? That's right. Your cell will be your spaceship. Picture the view through the iron bars. It's like being an astronaut in your own craft for all time. Hahaha, that's not a half bad though. Mr. Starbuck, Prosecutor Blackwell called to him. Good. Nou, je is helemaal klaar om naar prison cell te gaan. Spaceship prison cell. Fly me, my guilt, and my despair into the deepest, darkest space. And then let's get sucked into a black hole together. Objection! Mr. Starbuck, you can't give up hope. Oh? Yes, Apollo. Yes, Apollo? You know, Clay really looked up to you. He said you are an incredible man. He said you would never give up your dreams and passion for space, no matter the situation. He said that? So don't give up now and help me prove your innocence. For the sake of the man who respected you and believed in you, Clay Terran. For Clay. You're wasting your breath. Die laat ik niet doen, want dan ga ik mijn baan naar boven gelopen voor wat er is er aan de hand erboven. Apollo, thank you. I can see things clearly now. Miss Starbuck, I'm fine now. Thanks for reminding me of my life's mission. Right, we'll both be fine. I will prove you're innocent. You will see. And after that, we will get you back into space. Yay! I've ignited the booster rocket of my soul. I'm on fire. I am Solomon Starbuck, astronaut, a cosmic hero chosen by the universe itself. It is no time to be whimpering and crying. I can't let you and Clay down. Balderdash. The sun, the moon, all of space is calling me Solomon Soul Starbuck. Ready for launch. Begin the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off. Well, I feel like I've witnessed an actual rocket launch. Apollo, you did it! You broke Prosecutor Blackwell's grip over Mrs. Starbuck. I can't take the credit. It was all Mrs. Starbuck. He pulled himself through. If you simpletons are done massaging one another's egos. No matter how positive your mood, my advantage remains unshakable. I have but to wait for the final guilty verdict. Isn't that right, your boldness? I can't let up now. I have to stop Blackwell. I have to see this through. Mrs. Starbuck just has to make it back into space. Kijk een leuke foto. I won't allow Clay's dream to remain unfulfilled. I will got to destroy Blackwell's argument somehow. Think, Justice, think. If the only people at Launchpad 1 were Clay and Mrs. Starbuck, and if Clay was already dead by the time this footage was taken, then the only person who could have killed him is Mrs. Starbuck. So the only way to counter Blackwell's argument is if I can prove that Clay was still alive when they arrived at the boarding ground. In which case, I should be able to find some contradiction in the evidence itself. Now, let's see about this data that we just received. This supposedly proves that Mr. Starbuck dropped Clay's body on Launchpad 1. But if I'm going to prove that's false, then there must be something I can use here. Enough of this fair farce. Your boldness, let's have your verdict.
Objection!
Oh no. No. Prosecutor Blackwell, you seems to be in quite a hurry to rush the verdict. But about the oxygen tank data you submitted just now. It says that Mrs. Starbuck's tank had 80% remaining, while Mr. Terrence had 0. Do you stand by the accuracy of this report? Of course. Then I guess it simply means that it's faulty as evidence goes. You will explain what you mean, Justice Dono. It's simple. This evidence contradicts the facts of this case. Take a look here at the detailed description and you'll see what I mean. Hope you have some evidence, Mr. Justice, because I don't see what's so contradictory. Yes, Your Honor, right away. This is the evidence that the oxygen tank report stands in contradiction with the camera, of course, because 50. How do you go from 50 to 80? Present. And how does this evidence present a contradiction? The problem is this part here. The number.
Take that!
Note the remaining oxygen in Mr. Starbuck's tank as he carries Mr. Tarrant. It appears to say 50. Yes, but according to the data, our client's tank had 80% remaining. Oxygen in the tank increased? I see Your Honor finds it as strange as I do. It's bad enough that there's a contradiction, but the increase in oxygen is beyond illogical. Oh my, you're absolutely right. What is going on here?
Silence.
Good question. I too find it odd that the oxygen remaining has increased. It would be as odd as if my rations were increased. But what does that prove? It doesn't change the fact that it is the defendant carrying the victim's corpse.
Objection!
Hey, I'm going to bet you don't get more rations because you don't abide by the rules. Either way, the oxygen remaining shouldn't be increased, just as your ration don't increase. Therefore, the new information is critical. We can't overlook it.
Silence.
In that case, do you have an answer to this riddle of the mysterious increasing oxygen? I will better not disappoint, or I will declare the inconsistency as mere equipment malfunction. Yike! Prosecutor Blackwell has a point. I suppose it could be a simple malfunction. Mr. Justice, if you cannot provide an adequate counter-argument to this point, I'm afraid I must bring this trial to an end. So, do you think you can explain why the remaining oxygen level increased? Oh, of course I can. The thing to do at a time like this is turn my thinking around. Mr. Starbuck has no memory of it, but he claims to have carried clay. So this man with 50 on the tank out to be Mr. Starbuck. But if anything, the display on his oxygen tank should have shown on 80. This is a clear contradiction between the report and the security footage. So what I should be asking is not why did the oxygen level increase, but what had to have happened to make it look like it increased. Am I making some kind of mistake in my base assumptions here? Well, Mr. Justice, we're waiting. Yes, Your Honor, I'm ready to answer. This is why the remaining oxygen appears to have increased. They were going the other way. The victim was carrying the defendant. Thanks for damage. The victim was carrying the defendant. What if it was the other way around? The other way around? Would you care to explain, Mr. Justice? As you can see, Your Honor, both men had their helmets on in this footage. But it turns out this is where our base assumptions were astray. We assumed that it was Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran, but it was the other way around. It wasn't Mr. Starbuck helping Mr. Terran at all. It was Mr. Terran who was helping Mrs. Starbuck to the boarding lounge. It was... What? Order, Mr. Justice. You mean to tell me that the person on the right in this image is the victim, Clay Terran? It is the only way the riddle and the increased oxygen level can be solved, Your Honor. Yes. At this point in time, the remaining oxygen in the victim's tank was at 50%. And when the victim was found in the boarding lounge, the tank was at 0%. That's right. There's nothing contradictory about the oxygen level. It is decreasing. That means Mr. Terran was alive as they made their escape to the lounge.
Silence.
How short your memory is. Have you forgotten what you yourself proposed? Even if the victim was alive at a point in time, how did he descend the ladder with his arm full?
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell, you can't hurt me with a broken blade. Excuse me? It's true that we don't know how they got down the ladder. I suppose that matter needs further investigation. But we have proven that Mr. Terran was alive when he reached the boarding lounge. This fact alone shatters your claims and opens up the possibility that the victim could have been killed by a third party. Got him. There were two people who claimed to be the first on the scene, but can we truly trust their statements? Let's see, the two people were Detective Candice Arms and Yuri Cosmos, right? You think that one of them might have given a false statement to the police? Yes, it's certainly possible. We might have to do a little more digging. It seems we will have to hear the testimony of these first two people on the scene. Score! Come to think of it, Detective Arm should be here in court right now. Bailey, would you please show Detective Arm to the stand? Hold it. By who? Oh, this dude weer. I have an announcement, everyone. What is the meaning of this? We're in the middle of a trial here. Please remain calm and listen carefully. Someone has reactivated the bomb. Ah, nu komt de bombing of the courtroom. The bomb was defused, but it's about to explode. Explode. Het is het begin van de game geweest. A bomb? Now? Ah, everybody run! Eek, I don't want to die. Oh no. Everybody's panicking.
Silence.
Headless chickens with a death wish. The lot of you, calm yourselves all else. Come on, Apollo. Let's get out of here. But what about Mr. Starbuck's dreams? And who will carry out Clay's final wish? I don't care what happens to me. I'm not letting some bomb blow the crew up forever. I refuse to let things end here. Apollo, this is no time to be dramatic. If we don't get out of here now, we're going to die. Come on, this way. Hey, ouch! Let me go. Apollo. Juniper? She hasn't evacuated yet. Eek! Juniper, are you alright? Apollo, no, not that way. En dat was de bom. Boom. Basically, happy with it.
Kaboom?
Yes, Rico. Kaboom.
Kaboom. That was a big kaboom. Big. Oh, we zijn Mr. Wright. In the middle of the Space Center bombing trial. He had another bombing incident. This one destroyed courtroom number 4. Furthermore, Apollo suffered massive injuries from being there when the bomb went off. Unfortunately, Juniper Woods was fingered as the courtroom bomber. Athena and I knew she had to be innocent, so we took her case on. Dat was de eerste case die we hadden. En dat was Mr. Boomy here himself. We managed to clear Mrs. Wood's name. But Apollo sustained further injuries when he was attacked by that tornado. December the 19th, 3:21 p.m. Wright Editing Agency. Okay, Apollo is a tough guy, but this is taking its toll on him. Yeah. Poor guy, being attacked by a tornado like that on top of all his other injuries. Apollo is resting at the nearby Hickfield Clinic. Oh, heeft hij nu die jas aan van zijn beste vriend? Ik denk dat het de jas is van zijn beste vriend. I have some experience with that place myself. What an awful turn of events. I never thought he would land in a hospital of all places. You must miss him too, huh? Now that you don't have anybody to tease. Don't worry, he's young. He will heal quickly and be back before you know it. It's been a while since I last saw Trucy look so down. We won the court case, yet nobody feels much like celebrating. Alright, enough of this, people. This is no time to be mopping around. Now, dry those eyes, both of you. Huh? You're the one who's Quanya, Tina. Technicalities, look. We have work to do. We have to take over. Take over what exactly? Apollo Space Center case, of course. As no verdict has been reached, there's still a chance. I agree with Athena. We should pick up Mr. Starbuck's defense. We have to avenge our fallen comrade. Right, Daddy? Apollo hasn't exactly fallen. He's still alive, you know. Good. Now that has been settled, let's get going. Come on. We gotta run. Wait. Right. Now? We better be not be running the whole way. There she goes. I better go catch up. Can you take care of the office, Trucy? Sure thing, Daddy. Let's be careful out there. In the meantime, I'm going to bake some cookies and fill up my magic panties for you. Trucy seems to be feeling a little better. I can always count on Athena to perk everybody up with her enthusiasm. Oh, she's back! Don't mind me, just forgot a few things. Wallet, phone, the documents, my bag. Sounds more like you forgot everything. I can always count on Athena for that too. Alright, you two, let's be careful out there. Oké, veel succes met alles. Oké, we zijn nu in de detention center. Let's see. Visitors room. So our client is one Solomon Starbuck. He is so famous, even I've heard of him. That's right, he's a super famous astronaut who worked at the Cosmos Space Center. He was actually up in outer space 7 years ago. You seem to know quite a bit about him. Now I'm all excited to meet the man. Wow, that was the longest sign I've ever heard. Apollo told me all about you. You're Phoenix Wright, Apollo's mentor, right? Yes, that's right. Mentor has a nice ring to it. Don't worry about a thing, Mr. Starbuck. Mr. Wright and I have got you covered. And you're the new kids that Apollo told me about. Wait, don't I know you from somewhere? Huh? You mean another than your trial? I don't think so. I guess so, my mistake. My memory isn't what it used to be. My mind and body are kaput. Same goes for my life. I mean, I'm so astronomically unlucky that I had a bomb go off in the middle of my trial. Trying to defend me would be like trying to enter the stratosphere without a spacecraft. Yikes, he's seriously got to stop depressing himself. Hemzelf alleen. Ik word er ook depressed van om dat te lezen. Cheer up, Mr. Starbuck. Besides the thing you said about entering the stratosphere. That just means we'll shine like shooting stars right now, right? Like shooting stars, huh? You know, you're right. Why didn't I think of that? After all, that's what we're all put on this earth to do, right? Shine like stars. Guess I shouldn't mention the fact that shooting stars burn out in the flash. Oh yeah, here we go! 3, 2, 1, to the stratosphere and beyond! Yeah, I feel alive now. You can go ahead and ask me anything you want. Is that really all it takes? The case. So you have no memory of all of the incidents. I'm so ashamed. My memory of the time is as black and clouded as a dark nebula. Still, isn't it strange you don't remember a thing? Are you sure you didn't take one of those anti-anxiety pills like they said in the trial? You got it all wrong. I told them during the investigation too. I don't know anything about any drugs. I never took any medication. I swear. It is true. I developed a fear of spirits because of what happened 7 years ago. And I was taking medications secretly every now and then when my anxiety got bad. Having a fear of space is not something an astronaut can brag about, you know? Of the so-called Head 1 miracle, that must have been a terrifying experience. But I'm still an astronaut at heart. Come that may, I would never take drugs that might impede my performance just before a launch. That launch meant everything to me. It's more certain than the theory of relativity. Okay. He seems like a completely different person now. This is the face of an astronaut I know. But the tranquilizers were found in your system. Aww. Yeah, see, that's the thing. But I don't know why. I'm done for... If you didn't take them, then maybe somebody slipped them to you. Exactly, that's what I thought. It must have been the real culprit. My medication was in my locker. Anybody could have got their hands on it. Maybe the real culprit also planted the detonator switch in your pocket. Yeah, that's gotta be it. I've been framed. I will say they even managed to plant your prints on the switch before slipping it in. It's a real possibility. Do you remember anything else that might be relevant? Anything at all, no matter how small, like about the murder weapon, for example. That knife. I think it came from one of the Space Center's utility kits. Utility kits? Yeah, staff who worked on machinery a lot are given these special toolkits to use. All the technicians have them, so I thought you could prove whose knife it is. Okay, it has the victim's blood on it from the set of utility tools used in the Space Center. Okay. The Head 1 miracle. As I recall, your last trip into space was 7 years ago, right? That's right. It was a pretty rough experience. During that mission, we had all kinds of problems with the craft. You did? What kind of problems? Power failure, oxygen leakage, bursting radio, cracked windows, loose control column. The heat shield came off as we were entering the atmosphere. I thought I was a goner, but I managed to make it somehow with the popsicles and ice packs from the freezer. No wonder they dubbed it the Head 1 miracle. It's a miracle you made it back. Space is a boundless place. It's why it continues to capture people's imaginations. But the vastness of space shows us how insignificant we are in the scheme of things. Darkness just goes on forever and ever and ever without an end. There was nobody else there. Nobody was gonna come save me. Dit is luid. I was alone. I was all alone. All alone with nothing to listen to but the sounds of my own breathing and heartbeat. I kept scrambling to make repairs, but I couldn't keep my hands from shaking. An experience like that would make anybody afraid to go up into space. Outer space, let's go. With the experience you had, weren't you dreading this mission? What? No way! Of course not! Even now, I want to go up into space so bad. I can barely stand it. I want to shake off the Earth's gravity and escape velocity and spin around weightlessly. But you have to admit, it was pretty harrowing. Weren't you even a tiny bit afraid? I was afraid. Of course I was. Still am. But space is man's final frontier, an unknown world. The cosmic truth is out there waiting for us somewhere. Cosmic truth, huh? I guess there are people looking for the truth in every walk of life. No matter how afraid I am, I'm sure I can manage it. I will give it to my... If I give in to my fear, I will never find the truth. As long as I don't give up, I can keep up the fight. One thing's for sure, Mr. Starbuck's passion for space is undeniable, the real deal. The victim. The victim, Clay Terran, he looks kind like your prodigy. He was kind of like your prodigy, wasn't he? Well, it wasn't a big accelerated deal like Master and Apprentice or anything like that. But Clay did think of me as his mentor. The mentor and the prodigy. What a combination they must have been. Aww. With his encouragement, I knew I could get over my fear and go back into space. But now... Clay must have been very encouraging, huh? Yeah, it's funny, really. Whenever I would hear him shout, "You're fine," I always got the feeling everything really was going to be just fine. You're fine. Apollo says I'm fine, and you're fine all of the time too. And I always feel encouraged too, whenever I hear him shout it. Yeah, Clay and Apollo were best buds. They used to come visit the Space Center a lot, even since they were high school kids. One day, out of the blue, Clay even told me he wanted to be my prodigy. Those two hung around the Space Center so much, they were like a part of the staff. One time during zero-G training, I started to panic a little bit. And the two of them took turns shouting, "You're fine," over the radio. It was a simple thing, but it was exactly what I needed to hear. So, I'm fine and you're fine were like Apollo and Clay's secret phase, huh? I wish I could ask Apollo more about Clay and their relationship now. Speaking of Clay, how do you suppose he climbed down the ladder with you over his shoulder? Sorry, but I can't even begin to imagine. But he actually did climb down the ladder, so a way has to exist. From the freedom of space to the walls of a cell. But that prosecutor said the dark night sky isn't half bad to prepare its windows. You're fine, Solomon Sol Starbuck. Solomon Sol Starbuck is fine. Everything is going to be alright, huh? And Athena Sykes is fine. Come on, Mr. Wright, you too. Do I really have to? Phoenix Wright is fine. I can't hear you. Phoenix Wright is fine. We'll get you back into space yet, Mr. Starbuck. Believe in your own innocence and have faith in us. Apollo believe in you wholeheartedly, and that's good enough for me. I believe in you too. Thank you. Thank you, both of you. I will put my faith in you. And I vow to make it back into space. All I need first is a not guilty verdict. It sure feels nice to reassure ourselves every now and then that we're all fine. Okay, Mr. Wright. Let's get our investigation of the Space Center started. Pronto! Good idea. Let's go. Well, see you later, alligator. Entrance. December the 19th, Cosmos Space Center. The entrance. Wow, I was wondering what kind of place this Space Center would be. It almost looks like an amusement park of the future. Yeah, did you know they even let the public see their rockets up close? Oh, so check it out. Look at how bright the Kayaksa logo shines in the sunlight above the entranceway. I really dig the stars and rocket motive it's got going. Kayaksa, huh? Isn't that the new name of the Federal Space R&D program? Yeah, but why is it strange acronym? I mean, what is GAI supposed to stand for? Galaxy? If that were it, then the whole thing would be something like Galaxy Exploration Agency, which, if you ask me, would have abbreviated to Gaiax, even Gia? Gaia? Gia? I guess so. Oh, I know, maybe the person who came up with the name just really likes the letter Y. This exchange is beginning to feel oddly like déjà vu. Anyway, this place is more than just a research facility. It's also a tourist attraction. Tourist attraction? Don't make me laugh. It's a monument to the human race. Electric scooter, full speed ahead. Hi. Who are you? Wie ben jij? Yikes! Who is this geezer and what's he want? Look upon me and look well. Behold the great power of space science. Pardon me, but you are... My glorious name is Yuri Cosmo. I'm the director of the Cosmos Space Center. Center of the Cosmos. Boss? That was pretty goon-inducing. If this person is the Space Center's director, then that means... Ah, so you were the one of the first to discover Clay's body, weren't you? And who was the first to find the victims? Actually, there were two of them. Space Center Director Yuri Cosmos and Detective Candice Arm. That's correct. I was honored to be the very first man in all of space and time to discover the body. But this talk of the incident, are you by any chance the space police? You can tag the world space into just any old thing, you know. We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We're here to investigate his case. Oh, and we're Earth lawyers, by the way. Ah, I see. Yes, I've heard about you. In that case, by my esteemed privilege, I grant you permission to investigate. I trust you are appropriately grateful. Now, go ahead. Have at it. I can already tell he's going to be nothing but trouble. Oh, ik heb gewoon mijn camera geopend. Staat hier beneden onder de muis. Don't let him hear you say that, or you will see what trouble really is. Let's just be professional and ask him about when he found the body, okay? Okay. About the bombing, Yuri Cosmos. So as a director, what do you do here at the Space Center specifically? Defense peace across the galaxy and promote space development in this country. No matter what obstacles stand in our way, we keep going for the sake of mankind. I believe I used the word specifically in my question. Attention all personnel. To your break stations, perhaps for break. Prepare for break. Oh, I get it. You just run around and tell people what to do in a self-important manner. That's exactly right. Because I am an important man, my manner is important. Mr. Wright, this man doesn't get sarcasm. Well, there's bound to be some people like that. Here in the boundlessness of space. What's that? You want to know what it is to make me important? Specifically? Very well, I will tell you. I was the central figure at the Head 1 project. You may proceed to be appropriately impressed. No, go ahead, have at it. I might be more impressed if I knew what he did for it, specifically about the bombing. Could you tell us about what you know, Aurora? Could you tell us what you know about the incident from the other day? I refuse. What? Explaining is a job for common folk, not the director of the Center of the Cosmos. My testimony, which will go down in space history, will be heard in the courtroom. What? So does that mean you will be taking the stand tomorrow? That's correct. I will be the most glorious witness in the history of mankind. I'm not sure if he really understands what being a witness is all about. Look like Director Cosmos is the type that only talks about what he wants to talk about. Then let's at least try to ask him about the things he might be willing to open up about. About Het 1, okay. The Het 1 was a rocket that was launched into space 7 years ago, correct? And despite numerous problems, it somehow made its way back home. I suppose it is part of my job to educate ignorant young folk like you. Very well, I will impart to you the complete story of the Het 1 project. Aha, thank you very much. Story time. Het 1 noble mission was to collect samples from an asteroid, and Mr. Starbuck was the pilot for that flight. Eventually, the Het 1 reached the planet orbit. From where it launches the Hope probe towards the asteroid belt. From there, the Hope probe began its long, lonely journey into the far reaches of space. Then, after a terrifying struggle, the Het 1 returned safely to Earth. The struggle was when the incident known as the Het 1 miracle occurred, right? Correct. It truly was a miracle, of course. They just had to turn the ordeal into a movie. As for the Hope probe, it did eventually arrive safely at its destination. Obtained a few samples for the asteroid and returned to Earth with a few days. So what kind of samples are they? What's in them? The samples are scheduled for analysts in the near future. We haven't had any time since they just came back the day before Tarrant's murder. Regardable, we had no time to inspect the samples due to everything that was occurred. But this puts our space development program ahead of other countries by several years. That's quite impressive. I guess this guy isn't just a loud-mounted braggart after all. In the golden age of space development, this source was successful in bringing the moon walk back. That is the greatest achievement in the history of the Space Center. The public fell in love with space and all of its glorious potential. A moonwalk, huh? I remember that being big. Oh, and the force with the moonwalk lives on in our work with those asteroid samples. I want to bestow new hope and dreams for the future upon mankind once again. That is my mission, as the man who stands at the center of the cosmos. I hear there's a lot of research into moonwalks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the result could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there. But, bite your tongue, it's not for anything so base as money or politics. It's all for the brilliant future that awaits mankind, and all for my illustrious mission, okay? With the recent budget cuts, my staff tells me finances are tight, but I won't hear it. I guess even a space program has to watch its budget. By the way, you seem awfully knowledgeable about this kind of thing, Athena. Huh? Oh, well, you know, I thought I would better brush up for the case. Is that so? Well, I will be on my way. As you can see, I have a very busy and a very important man. I'm a very busy important man. Galactic scooter, fire up the main engine. Marks battle speed and engage. And there he goes. That thing is surprisingly fast. I guess we better get going too. You bet. Let's make it so. Okay, let's move to the boarding lounge. Oh, nice window. Stuff. Wat staat daarboven? Boarding lounge. Okay, so this is where Mr. Town was murdered. Yeah, this is the lounge. Let's see that diagram the police made again. Right, now we're in the main building here on the right side on the 3rd floor. Clay and Mrs. Starbuck fled here from the Launchpad 1 after the explosion. You there. No admittance without express permission. We're Mr. Starbuck's lawyers. We've come to investigate. Sorry, nobody gets in without permission. Not even the police superintendent. Can't have Detective Fulbright getting mad at me. So Detective Fulbright is here, huh? Yeah, he is at the Launchpad 1 corridor. Go get clearance from him, and then we will talk. Leave it to me. I'm great at getting intel out of Detective Fulbright. Let's see. What tricks should I use on him today? Tina, come up. I don't know if I should be grateful or afraid. Both. So, to get to the Launchpad 1 corridor, we just have to go through that door with the blue rocket on it, I think. Wait, that door... It looks awfully familiar. Good eye there, boss. It's the door where they came through. This is the door Clay and Mrs. Starbuck used during their escape from the Launchpad. Ah, that explains it. The fingerprint system has been deactivated, so I think we can just pass through. Now, come on. Let's go! Okay, move. Launchpad 1 corridor. Let's go. Hey, there is a cleaning robot. How cute. Even in space, safety first. Okay, Launchpad 1 corridor. So this is it, huh? This is the corridor the two of them used in their escape. Yep. This is the only thing connecting Launchpad 1 with the main building. I see police tape down at the other end. Guess we won't be looking at the Launchpad. After the explosion, the whole corridor must have been filled with smoke. And the Launchpad itself was probably a sea of flames. Must have been pretty scary for them. Now, where could Detective Fulbright be? Hey, I think that's him over there. Hey, Detective, how you doing? What should I do? Which pet is the pet of justice? He seems to be lost. That's funny. This corridor is a straight shot. Huh? Ah, it's your lawyer people. Welcome to the Space Center. Enjoying a relaxing day off, are you? Here for a little rocket sightseeing? We're here to investigate the scene, same as you. Do you have any info to share? Boss, if he acts at all reluctance to give us information, we hit him with the whatever shall we do act. I'm sure he will fall for that. Got it? Are we trying to catch the unruly family dog here or something? Info on the case, huh? Alright, I will gladly share some with you. Huh? What just happened? Detective and lawyer seeking the truth and justice side by side. I like it. Just take whatever you want from me. Your info bandits. You info bandits, I'm in generous mood today. I don't know. There's something weird about Detective Fulbright today. Well, we need information, so let's run with it. If you say so. The crime scene. Detective Fulbright, could you give us permission to investigate the crime scene? There's an officer on guard, but he can't get in. Oh, whatever shall we do? That's an easy one. I will let them know over there to let you in. Investigate to your heart's content. Take a week if you need it. A month even. Shall I have some snacks delivered? One of my men gave me neck rub. Oeh, ik wil wel een nekmassage. Dat kan ik echt wel gebruiken. Ja, waarom niet? Maar wat is er mis met Fulbright? Fulbright is nooit zo vrijgevig. Oké, hij is wel vrijgevig omdat hij niet zo smart is. Maar hij is ook nooit zo vrijgevig. Ik blijf hier altijd met mijn hand rommelen. That's okay, but thanks. Definitely not the Fulbright I know. Detective Fulbright is acting secretly sweet. It's kind of gross, actually. Do you think he hits his head or something? Who knows? Whatever the case, it's making our lives way easier. True. What happened exactly? You were here at the Space Center at the time of the incident, weren't you, detective? That's right, I was here on the security assignment. The police are required to secure The police are required to secure rocket launches now. What? The police are required to secure rocket launches now? Vraagteken. I don't know that. I didn't know that. Yes, well, you know us. To serve and protect. Hahaha. The explosion occurred while I was here on duty, so I started leading the evacuation. He's leaving out a lot of details, but okay. Could you tell us some more about what happened? Of course, a bomb went off on the second floor and the main building. Right after that, the one over the launchpad 1 also blew sky high. So I immediately instructed the visitors and the employees to evacuate to the shelter. Shelter? That's right, there's an evacuation shelter in the basement of the Space Center. It's there for accidents and emergencies and the like. So where were you when the first bomb went off? I was on duty on the 4th floor. It was quite a madhouse, I tell you. The elevator wasn't working on account of the explosion. And the stairs on the 2nd floor were destroyed, so we couldn't go that way. Then, wasn't it impossible to get down to the basement shelter? Good question. No, we lowered the emergency ladder from the 4th floor window and escaped that way. It was a folding ladder, so it wasn't very stable, but at least it reached the ground. After I secured the ladder, I left to take another look around for any other survivors. Once everyone else got out safely, I made my way down too and headed to the shelter. Wow, what an ordeal. But climbing down an emergency ladder kinda sounds fun. Thank you for your answers, detective. They were very helpful. Just a moment, I have some more information to share with you. But don't tell Prosecutor Blackwell, okay? I won't tell anyone. Wow, and Prosecutor Blackwell usually has you on a short lease too. Well, never mind that. Haha, I thought you should know that there was a witness. Witness? Could you tell us more about the witness? Sure thing. The witness was a Space Center employee who was on the 4th floor. While she was climbing down, she looked through a window into the 3rd floor's launch. So she was looking into the crime scene from the outside? That's right. It was just a matter of chance. A chance that she saw something important. Not that I know what she saw exactly yet, though. You don't? But that's the most important thing of all. Hahaha, don't you worry, I will get around to interviewing her soon enough. She should still be somewhere here in the Space Center. You might even run into her. 4th floor employee, huh? Alright, thanks for the info, Detective Fulbright. Gee, you sure are being cooperative, Detective. A little too cooperative, even. Yes, well, actually, something you can't talk about? Yes, something like that. Anyway, never mind. Don't worry about me. Well, we will on our way now. Okay, bye. What was that all about? Something is definitely going on. I'm going to get it out of him the next time I see him. Oh, okay. I'm not sure I will talk about it though. Well, we have permission to investigate now. Let's head back to the boarding lounge. Okay, let's back to the boarding lounge. You too. Detective Fulbright has granted you permission to investigate. He also said I should bring you some snacks or give you a neck rub too, if you would like. I still like it. Uh-huh. That's alright, but thank you for the offer. Well, time to roll off our sleeves and start investigating now. Let's see, where is that diagram again? So this lounge is on the 3rd floor of the main building. And according to Apollo, this is where he believes the 3rd party killed his friend. Well, let's stop to recap and start looking for traces of the 3rd person then. You read my mind, Athena. We will make that our first priority. There's just one problem though. This room? Het is just zo big. Want zo big leek dit ook weer niet, maar misschien lijkt het minder big op de game. Don't worry. We can use this to help us. A Space Center pamphlet? For tourists? Yep. Picked up at the entrance. The map inside should come in handy. Let's see. Yep, here it is. A map of the launch. Handig. Elevator. It's here. The control room is daar. The launch pad is daar. Okay. Okay. Boarding lounge. Okay. This is the door we went through to talk to Detective Fulbright. Okay. Oh yeah, that's the door with the fingerprint recognition lock. Well, I guess the map will make things a little easier. Space Center pamphlet added to the court records. A pamphlet that visits to the Space Center that includes a diagram of the boarding lounge. Oké, handig. Je kan me niet opletten. Yeah, no more excuses. Let's track down the 3rd person. Wait, there's just one more thing. What's that strange creature moving around outside the window? Oh, boss, it's just a holographic image. Ik wil krabben en ik wil doorklikken tegelijkertijd. Dat werkt niet. Oh yeah, I knew that. Phew, that's a relief. There should be a button somewhere to the room to turn the image on and off. That's what it says in the pamphlet anyway. The only reason you're so eager to start is so that you can push that button, isn't it? And what's wrong with that? Let's just look for the button while we're looking for clues. Alright, fine. Let's get investigating. Oké, examine. We hebben hier boven een funny stoel. No matter how I look at it, I can't think of a torture device. Echt, hier kan mijn arm man. But I guess it's a training device for getting used to zero gravity. Athena has an old glint in her eye. Is she thinking about trying that thing out? I should try to stop her, but I'm afraid she will just outmuscle me. Hey, Miss Wright, look at that up there. Oh, what is that? Some kind of fragment. It's stuck and tight. Oh, so that's what the glint was all about. That color looks familiar. I think it's part of the oxygen tank. I think you're right. But if that's here, it means Clay's tank ruptured after they arrived at the boarding lounge. So Prosecutor Blackwell's theory that Mr. Starbucks dropped Clay down a ladder must be wrong. That proves that both of the astronauts were alive when they reached the boarding lounge. So Apollo was right. The scene of the murder wasn't the launch pad. Aha! Way to go, Apollo! Yeah. Here is the lake. So this is where they discovered Clay. Yeah, he was already dead when they found him. Let's take a look at his photo. So he was stretched out like this, and what's that thing that looks like a thermos? That's the thing that Prosecutor Blackwell mentioned when I was in court with Apollo. He said that it contains asteroid samples. Oh right, Director Cosmos mentioned something about that too, didn't he? Yep, he did. That they were brought back only 5 days ago by the probe that they had one launched. I wonder what they look like. Do you think they will let us see? Let's think about that after we've solved the case, okay? That's some pretty futuristic looking furniture over there. According to the pamphlet, those are no ordinary chairs. They're like amusement park teacup rides. You can power them yourself, it says. If you spin the table, your chair spins too. Why would anyone want to have something like that here? Well, it's fun. It's for astronauts who have trouble with the device on the ceiling. No vertical spins. Oh. It says it's a training device that's easy on the eyes and on the body. Can a person really call themselves an astronaut if they can't handle 0G? At first glance, this looks like a peaceful landscape, but then there's that creature. Didn't the Hope Probe go to some planet? Maybe this is what the surface looks like. I don't know. I think it would have made the news if they discovered a creature like that. It did make quite a bit of news, though when the probe came back, yeah. But the Hope Probe didn't even go to the planet. It went to an asteroid. That's a big war kind of thing. Even aliens can't live there. Okay, we investigate that. Window. That's all the window saying. A window, and it's right next to the holographic image too. I bet it's here to help people see this stark contrast between reality and virtual reality. Way off. It says emergency ventilation. You know, to clear smoke from a fire. See? It's pointing out the virtual insanity or reality of reality. Oké, hier hebben we de dingen naar de andere dingen. It looks like there are 3 doors that lead in and out of this room. Well, let's check. Drum roll, please. Tada! The Space Center pamphlet. We're here at the place that says boarding lounge 1. Here are the 3 doors. Let's call them lefty, righty, and down. People used to say west, east, and south. In a case like this, you know, details. Anyway, take a look at the west door. It's this door. The door with the rocket icon leads to Launchpad 1. You know, because it says here on the map, Launchpad 1 corridor. That is where we were with the detective. It was filled with smoke after the explosion. Right. Next up, the right-hand side of the map, or east, in your world. There's a door with the satellite dish icon to signify communication, aka the control room. Yep, it definitely says control room. Looks like it has another door on the opposite side. They communicate and exchange information with rockets and folks in space from there. So it's the center of the Space Center. The Space Center, if you will. Does everybody start to talk like Detector Cosmos after they have been here a while? But it seems that they built a new command center on the 6th floor. That's why they use for the Head 2 mission. So this control room was empty at the time. I've always wanted to see the inside of a mission control room, and since we're here, I would love to do that too, but it doesn't look like we're able to. They want to keep curious kids like you out. So the door is protected with fingerprint recognition. Only the director can go through. With that much security, I'm definitely not the one they're looking to keep out, Tina. So apparently the lock is also hooked up to the backup generator in case of emergencies. Okay, what about that last door? This lower door. Oh, excuse me, I mean south door. It leads to the elevators. This is the door we came through when we entered this room, right? Yep, and of course there was no fingerprint recognition device, so it's open to anyone. But the elevators weren't working at the time of the explosion. Well, that's about it for the 3 musketeers of the boarding lounge. Thanks. Understanding the layout of the lounge should help us understand the case. That's why I thought I would better have a good guess of where all the doors go. Oké. Wat is hier allemaal nog aan de hand? Oh, dat is zo de maandingetjes. Jumping on the moon. Here's another amazing piece of equipment. Walk on the surface of the moon, it says. Oh boy, I want to try it. Gravity is weak on the moon, so I bet I could do mid-air somersaults. We're still on Earth, remember? Besides, it's connected to the ceiling. Well, at least I could jump really high. There's a sign on the wall that very clearly says don't jump too high. When what good is that saying? Didn't I say in the beginning, walk on the surface of the moon? Okay, it's to walk on the surface of the moon. What is it here? What's this? A trapdoor? It's a trash chute. To clean robots throws the garbage out from there. Robots do the cleaning? What a futuristic world we live in. I just hope they don't revolt like they do in science fiction movies. No way, all the robots here are very nice. Actually, wasn't there one in the launchpad, one corridor? We can go say hi to it if you want. Good idea, actually. What is it here? Oh, hier blinkt iets. Hey, I see something shining down there. Let's take the cover off then. What is that? A bullet? What's this? It looks like a metal jelly bean. It's really small. It's a bullet. It's only about 2 or 3 millimeters in diameter. Let's see. That would make the caliber .10. Caliber refers to the diameter of a gun's barrel, right? Yes, but I've never heard of a .10 caliber gun before. This bullet must be for a special kind of gun. I bet if you tried firing a bullet this small with a regular size gun, it would just fall right out. Yeah, it must have been a really small gun. I wonder how the bullet ended up here. I mean, we're in the bottom left of the south door side of the room, according to this map. That's pretty far from where Clay's body was. Maybe the police didn't think to look here. Yeah, leave it to Detective Wright to accidentally hand us just the card we need. Okay. Oh, dat wil ik niet doen. Yeah, nothing special there, I know. Back. Back. And we check this footage. The footage. This must be the security camera that recorded the astronauts making their escape. Oh, let's commemorate this occasion with a love apiece. If you're done now, shall we move on? Yeah, okay. But you just one more for the vote. Peace! Very mature. Oké, deze door moet ik nog aanklikken. So this is the fingerprint recognition device. I guess you put your hand on this hand mark. Why guess when you can try? Now, to line your hand up with the outline. Don't, Athena. This thing is related to the case. Get your prints all over that, and the next thing you know, you will be named a suspect. Aww, how can you be so cruel to a little girl like me? I'm not buying those tears, Missy. Doe even een dochter, je weet wat krokodillentranen zijn. Wat is dat ding? I wonder what that big knob is for. It looks like the knob of a stove. Well, it's the same shape, but I think that's where the similarities end. I mean, it's behind a glass panel. What kind of stove would require knob security like this? Well, the knob is straight up and down. So if it was for a stove, the burner would be off. Right, if it was for a stove. Still, I wonder what it's really for. Something turned on by a knob that's not a stove. How about a rocket engine? If you have to start the engine here, the rocket would take off before you could get in. Then I guess all we can say for now is that it's a mystery knob. It's a mystery knob. Let's see, this door is where that pamphlet... Here we are. It's the door to the corridor that leads to Launchpad 1. We went through it earlier when we went to talk to Detective Fulbright. So I guess the security lock must be disengaged now, right? They say the corridor was filled with smoke at the time of the bombing. This thing besides the door. This must be the fingerprint recognition device. Which reminds me, I think Prosecutor Blackwell talked about it at the trial. The notion of a third party in Launchpad 1 is utterly absurd. Just to enter the area from the launch, one must pass through a door guarded by a fingerprint recognition device, and allowed me to state up front that there is no precise view, precise view with the clearance to do so. Then does that mean that the bomber's prints were verified by the system? But the number of authorized personnel was supposed to be really small. Voila, fingerprint powder. I brought it just in case something like this came up. I found it in the office. I've been just itching for a chance to use it. Wow, way to think ahead. Now, let's test the fingerprint recognition device and see what we can find. You got it. Now to sprinkle some here and a little over there and phew! Let's see what we have here. We got something. It's only a single set of prints. Isn't that a good thing? Sure wish we could figure out whose prints these are. Although I doubt we will be so lucky as to get the culprit's prints on the first try. Well, I'm willing to bet that Detective Fulbright has some fingerprint data. Right, and there's the security footage of this door too. Yes, there it is. It came up in court the other day. I wish we could see the part of the footage just after this bit. Oh, because what would be right before the murder, wouldn't it? Let's ask the detective. With the mood he's in, he will probably show it to us right away. Yeah, he's in almost too good of a mood today. Let's go see if we can find him again once we're done with this room. Oké, nog iets moet ik vinden in this room. Oké, nog wat in this room. Wat heb ik nog gemist in this room? Oh, the pots. These are apparently oxygen capsules. They are for recovery after a training session. I wonder if they can change your voice. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Huh? It didn't do anything. It's not helium, Athena. It's oxygen. Oké, en wat is hier nog? Dat zal de window zijn. Oh, a mirror. How thoughtful of them to put one here. Thoughtful? So the ladies can fix their makeup. One's appearance is just as important in space as it is on Earth, you know? You never know when you're going to run into some other life form after all. I doubt anyone who thinks like that would ever become an astronaut in the first place. Oké, wat mis ik nog? Oh, hier ligt nog iets. There's some kind of panel with 2 buttons on it here. Just push it. That's the invariable principle of buttons. There are such things as buttons left unpushed. No, it has a red button. Red button means you push the button. Good job. Oh, het zet de scherm uit. Oké. Hey, the giant holographic image disappeared. Yeah. But that side of the wall seems kind of barren without it now. Still, let's see if we can find anything new with the image off. Okay. With the holographic image off, the screen is completely black, which for some reason makes me think of losing an argument to Prosecutor Blackwell in court. But at least it's got my brain rift up. I come up with my best ideas at times like this. Oké. Mis ik dan nog iets? Ik zie niet echt iets wat ik kan... Oh, wacht eens even. Wat is dit? That's new. Hey, Mr. Wright, take a look at this. It looks like a bullet hole. Great find, Athena. It's pretty big. However, whoever fired the shot must have been using a pretty large gun. You think so? Based on my experience, I would say this was fired from a regular pistol. Well, whatever size it was, somebody fired a gun in here, right? Apparently, this is an important fact. Do you see a bullet anywhere? Yeah, die hebben we al mee. No, the police might have taken it though. Bullet hole added to... Hier is de bullet. Hier. Hier is die. Game, daar is die. Let's ask Detective Fulbright about this bullet hole later. Oké, dat was alles denk ik nu, hè? Ja. Welcome to the Space Center, guests. Welcome. Yikes. What in the world? My name is Ponko. Ponko? P-O-N-C-O. Ponko. Are you sightseeing? Are you lost? Are you looking around? Choose one. I will guide you. It's a robot. I am not a robot. I am Ponko. Psychological observation and navigation companion. P-O-N-C-O. Ponko. Well, I'm glad we got that cleared up. Oh, Ponko, I've missed you. Huh? Do you know this thing, Athena? Oh, she showed us around the last time when I came here with Apollo. Oh, you're such a good girl, Ponko. That's a good girl. Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm so happy, so very happy. Wow, a guide robot. That's pretty cool. My name is Phoenix Wright. Nice to meet you. I don't know you. I don't know you. Huh? Ouch, that hurt. Oh, she has to register people she meets for the first time. Please register him, Ponko. Certainly. Commencing guest registration. Please tell me your name. A nickname is fine too. His name is Phoenix. A bit overly familiar, but I will allow it. Phoenix, please let me get a good look at your face. Oh, sure. Registering. Facial recognition sequence complete. We are now officially friends. Nice to meet you, Phoenix. This robot is pretty cute. You made a friend, boss. Isn't that great? Phoenix, Athena, allow me to guide you. Right this way. Oh, goody. Let's go, boss. Go where? Ah, zie hier is die jas ook nog, wat die een ook aan had. Cosmos Space Center, Space Museum. That's a rocket. And spacemen. Oh wow, that what is this place? Is that a is that rocket real? Welcome. The Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 AM to 7 PM. Learn about the history of our nation's space development and the HET-1 project. The rocket is just a replica, but it's the same size as the real one. The Space Museum. Oh, here it is on the map. Nu zijn we aan de andere kant. Okay, so it's on the exact opposite side of the main building from the Launchpad 1. Okay. Ask me anything. Anything. I will explain. Okay. Head 1. It is quite a place. I can't believe we get to see a rocket this close up. This is a replica of the Head 1 that was launched 7 years ago. It's exactly what the real Head 1. It's exactly like the real Head 1, inside and out. Its little brother, the Head 2, was supposed to launch the other day. I wonder if Ponko knows why the launch was cancelled. Over there is an exhibit about the launch 7 years ago. Check it out! Check it out! Spacesuits, photos, newspaper articles. I would love to come here again on a day off. Hey, what's this in the this photo of? Oh, nice. Oh, kijk, hier is Ponko ook. Phoenix, that's the staff of the Head 1 project. Oh, that's Mr. Starbuck. He looks so young and so different. Ah, and that's... What is it, Athena? Is something wrong? Oh, nothing. I just thought Mrs. Starbuck looked really young too, that's all. Well, if it was 7 years ago after all. So the young guy standing next to Mrs. Starbuck is Clay Terran, the victim. So they were mentor and prodigy even way back then. And he's even got one of the staff jackets. He looks just like a regular staff member. No, Clay was still a student then. He just borrowed one of Solomon's old jackets. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Clay would have still been in high school 7 years ago. Everybody looks so happy. This space museum is great. What fantastic exhibits. This area used to be Launchpad too. That's why the only entrance is on the 3rd floor. Wouldn't it be better if they just made a new ground floor entrance instead? There was talk of it, but they had to scrap their plans because of the budget cuts. Budget cuts! Budget cuts! We need more money! Money! Who would record that kind of information into a guide robot? While it was in space, they had launched a probe called Hope. The Hope probe collected some samples from an asteroid and returned 5 days ago. That's what Director Cosmos said too. He told us it came back the day before Clay was killed. And here it is, the Hope space probe. I think I've seen that logo somewhere before. Let's see. Oh yeah! The capsule that the victim was carrying. I think it had the same logo. I think it can be seen in the photo attached to the autopsy report. Maybe she will give me some more info if I show it to her. Oh, oké. Dan gaan we dat als eerste doen. De autopsy-rapport. Oké, present. Ponko, do you recognize the capsule here in the top right? Checking register data. I know. It's the Hope capsule. It was carried inside the Hope probe. It contained the asteroid samples, right? Yes. It was designed to store the samples gathered by the Hope probe. It's been stored in the safe in Launchpad 1 ever since it returned to Earth. It must not be removed. It must not be removed. Don't worry, Ponko. The people in charge already know what happened. They do? They do? I must ask them later. So the capsule was being kept on Launchpad 1, huh? Maybe Clay was trying to carry it to safety after the explosion. The Space Center staff must have been really excited to finally get the capsule back. But it's a pity the incident occurred before they got a chance to check the contents. Well, the police took it as evidence, so they will have to wait a little longer. Wel, ze hebben 7 jaar gewacht. Ik denk dat ze nog wel een beetje langer kunnen wachten. Okay. Let's the launchpad layout. The way the Space Center launchpad is set up is really cool. Would you like me to tell you about it? Could you? The setup of the launchpad. Go gently on my spiky-haired mind. I want to know. I want to know. Phoenix wants to know too. Great. Now Athena's got a chase of Ponko itches. Hooray! I will tell you then. Okay. The rocket is built right side of the launchpad structure. When the rocket is complete, it's moved along with the launchpad over the rails. And brought into position at the launch site. Isn't it cool? Isn't it? We used to have a big budget, so that's how we could build it all. It's very cool, a grand setup that suits an important place like a space center. I guess everyone is hoping for a bigger budget next year. Myself included. I'm guessing the whole thing is operated from the control room, huh? That it is. But it can also be operated from the new command center too. Either way, the safety lock in the boarding lounge has to first be disengaged. I guess before a big move like that can be carried out, there are all kinds of procedures. I would love to see the launch pad being moved. When is the next one scheduled for? Searching data. All future plans have been put on hold. Because of the bombing and the murder, I will bet. Which is perfectly understandable. Well, when was the last time it was moved? Searching data. 7 jaar geleden, denk ik. I'm sorry. The answer isn't in my answer database. I guess Ponko can only answer certain questions. Well, we certainly learned a lot about the Space Museum. Thank you, Ponko. You explained everything very well. I love to explain. Thank you for listening. Thank you. You two are like old friends. It's hard to believe you just met recently. It's because Ponko is so friendly. Well, what should we investigate next? Let's go find Detective Fulbright. We have things to ask him about. Let's see. The security footage and the fingerprint data, was it? Okay, then let's go back to the Launchpad 1 corridor. Bye, Ponko. See you later. Come again. And don't forget to visit the gift shop. Poor Ponko. What a Dickinson life we all are forced to lead. Oké, terug naar Launchpad 1. Corridor. En daar moet onze inspector zijn. Of detective. What should I do? Which path is the path of justice? There's Detective Fulbright. He still seems to be lost, even though it's a straight corridor. Let's hope he's still in a cooperated mood as well then. If he doesn't cooperate, then I will just have to use my powers on him. You mean that lady in distress bit? Oké. Gaan we hierover praten? Het is ook al 11:30, hè? Het is 11:30. Ik ga het hierbij laten, denk ik. Ik ga hierbij de save doen. We hebben het ook weer 3 uurtjes en 20 minuutjes erop zitten. We hebben een case closed, want we hebben de case van school opgelost. En dan kunnen we gaan kijken wie live is op dit moment. En eens kijken. Wie is er allemaal live? Wij hebben in de aanbieding. Oh. Dat was iemand zijn leuk stream. We hebben een Sakame. We hebben een Kolija. We hebben een Voodoo. We hebben een Swole Eagle. We hebben een Baard. Goldstein. We hebben een Nox Bunny of Doom. Clownstein. En de normale Fnatic community page. Maar de community page is als er niemand live meer is, dan gaan we naar de community page. Dus, eens kijken. Ik ben aan het denken. Gisteren hebben we het Sakami gedaan. Is er nog een Noxie nog in? Noxie. Dan gaan we naar Noxie. Noxie Star was bezig. Geef hem zeker een follow. Echt een toffe kerel. Ik ga lekker naar mijn bedje toe. Ik ga morgen ook weer proberen live te gaan. Morgen ga ik dan wel Boulevard doen. Want zoals ik al eerder zei in de stream, het is vandaag begint het event van de 10 jaar Hearthstone event in Boulevard. Dus je kunt Hearthstone stuff krijgen in Boulevard. Maar er waren wat problemen op Facebook, las ik. Dus we gaan er gewoon morgen, wanneer alles een beetje achter de rug is van drukte erin, gaan we dat gewoon doen. Ja, ik zou zeggen voor de mensen die ook gaan lekker slapen, sliep wel. En have fun met Nox. Ik moet de raid nogal aanduiden eerst. Ik heb de raid nog niet klaarstaan. Ik heb alleen de persoon klaarstaan. Zo, nu staat de raid klaar. Dus, good night. Sleeptijd. Hopelijk zie ik jullie de volgende keer weer. En hopelijk is dat morgen. Kom op hoeft niks. Kan altijd nog wat tussen komen. Maar hopelijk morgen. Night night.